Looks like we're on. How are we doing, everybody? So, welcome to tonight's stream. Of course, the second semi-final, the Q clash between the Lions and the Gold Coast. Of course, probably the biggest Q clash you would imagine. I think every single Q clash this season has been the biggest. This one, of course, is going to be just that, with the first final between these two teams, and I think first of many in the coming years. Currently just doing the Welcome to Country, probably the National Anthem, then we'll get into the first bounce. A lot of pink in the crowd, of course, for the Gold Coast, wearing their salmon jumper. Don't mind it. Don't mind it. Packed Gabba crowd, as you would expect as well. I've picked Brisbane by 43 tonight, I think. I think the Gold Coast will give it a good shake in the first half, but I think Brisbane will inevitably just run over the top. I think the Gold Coast really fired their shot last week. So Dwayne Russell will be calling on Fox Footy with Mark Howard. Very good lineup. Very good lineup. You'll love to see it. So not too long till the bounce, about 30 seconds or so, probably about a minute. Captains come into the middle. Harris Andrews is one. He'll go to the right-hand side of screen. Big match-up for the Lions tonight, of course. Lowered their colours last week against the Cats. Very poor performance. Really weren't in that game for most of the night. While the Gold Coast fought their hearts out over in Perth and got the win, courtesy of their champion, their heartbeat in David Swallow, kicking the winning behind, if anything. They got over the line. A lot of people don't give them much chance tonight, saying this was their grand final last week. But who knows? This is a Q clash that means so much. Final messages from both captains, both leaders of their club. So, of course, Lions have a very good record against their crosstown rivals in the Gold Coast. 121 meetings against the SUNS compared to Gold Coast 8. They've won 12 of the past 14, the Lions. But, of course, the SUNS did thump Brisbane in their last encounter. So Zorko making his way down to the back 50, as you would expect. So here we go. The Q clash that means so much. Winner goes through to the prelim against the Pies of the MCG next week, while the loser is out. A Q clash with so much more on the line. And here's the first bounce. Jared Witts will win it. Wins it out to the outer side. Davies track that couldn't get there. Power wrapped up well by Dunkley. Should get rewarded, and he is. Such a big game for Josh Dunkley tonight, with Lachie Neale being out for most likely the rest of the season. He gives it off to the runner. Now the Lions can pump it inside the forward 50, top of the goal square. McInerney's there, so is Morris. Tapped to the goal line. Knocks through from the Suns, and the opening score goes Brisbane's way. So Oscar McInerney back into the team this week. A lot of people in the media calling for his inclusion this week in place of Sam Day, of course, the former Sun, and that call has been made. So now the Suns want to go on the outer side. Nice looking ball there from Rioli. Hits up Mac Andrew. The hero from last week as well. He was one of many. So he kicks a high ball up the wing. Looking for maybe King. Farah is there. Umpire calls for a free kick. It's going to go to Jared Witts. Such an unsung hero of the Gold Coast Suns, Jared Witts. Led this club for so many years and now finally can reap some rewards. He'll have the footy on the outer wing. Just chisels one in short to John Noble. Been a great recruit this year. Don't really want to bomb long here, the Suns. Eventually now Noble plants his foot into it. Goes towards the pocket. Flying is long. Couldn't take the mark. Andrew was there trying to get rid of it. Miller in with pressure. Humphrey trying to burrow out of there. Wilmot fished it out. Zorko, good gather. Gives it off to Gardner. And now they get it to Marshall. Clearing outside the defensive area, but it's going to be coming back. Rioli has his name written all over it. So just outside the forward 50 here, Dan Rioli. Just runs the perimeter of the 50, goes to Euland. It's been terrific this year, Bodie Euland. He'll run his full measure, send it top of the goal square. Who's going to fly for the Suns? King! Just stuck the hands up, dragged it down. Great contested mark early for the big key forward. The king of the forward line takes a nice mark. Wasn't much defensive pressure there from Brisbane. Just had a good... Should have got over that to there was Harris Andrews. Just couldn't claim the football. And nice grab there from Ben King. So a chance here for the Gold Coast to strike first. Ring of boos go around the Gabba. Ben King hits it a little skinny, but he directs it in just enough, and the Suns are on the board. Didn't come off the boot so sweet, but all that matters is the result. And Ben King kicks the opener. So a good start there for the Suns. A couple of interesting matchups up forward for the Gold Coast. A lot of work is going into Harris Andrews early, and on that marking contest, it worked wonders. And now Ben King equals the most amount of goals of the Gold Coast Suns with Tom Lynch, of course, a former a Tiger now, former under the tutelage of Demma Hardwick. So held up in the middle of the ground. Umpire waves his arms, calling play on. Brisbane get the clearance. High up and under ball. Spoiled back the other way from Rioli. Couldn't gather was Marshall. Coming through was Rao. Got interrupted. Davies, handball forward. Miller links up from one captain to the other. Now it's Noah leading from the front. Great finish, Noah Anderson. The Gold Coast. Red hot start. Great work here from the Gold Coast. Kicked the opening 2 goals of the game. This is what the Gold Coast need to do early tonight. And they've started brilliantly. Great kick there from Noah Anderson from just inside the centre square. Kicked it brilliantly. Some may have questioned the call to make him the new captain in 2025, but he has lived up to it. The Brisbane need to respond now. McCluggage gives it off to Rayner. He drives it towards the 50, but Collins has his name written all over it. So early stages opening term. Collins, just a little lateral ball inside to Fiorini. come into this team in the second half of the year and has worked wonders. He goes up the wing, looking for King again. In fact, it's Jared Witts who started well. Takes a strong contested mark. He's got John Noble as a handball. That's where he goes now. They've got a bit of link-up play. Decides to just plant it on the boot once again. Towards the pocket, Harris Andrews flies. Well done from King to cause a contest. Lions numbers on the ground. Weird handball. Gave it straight to Miller. He handballs into the back of Humphrey. Ricochets almost to Long. And now the recovery from the Lions. Dunkley off to Harris Andrews. Clearing a high ball. McInerney was held in the contest and he'll get the free. So now Brisbane want to try and go with a full switch. They go right back to the defensive 50. They find Darcy Gardner about 20 out from the defensive goal. So they're just going to try and take a slow approach here, Brisbane. They love the kick mark game. So now they want to use this out of side. Don't really have a lot to go to. Now Josh Dunkley has it. Just don't want to waste it here, Brisbane. They don't want to turn it over. Zorko tries to kick that ball through the middle of the ground. It was pinpoint. Hits up Jared Berry, gives it back to Zorko. Who does he want? Goes with a low darting ball inside the forward 50, looking for Cameron, spoiled away by Euland. Gives it Ashcroft, feigns the give, gives it off to Marshall in the end. Who does he want? Goes top of the goal square. Morris didn't mark, lands, kicks, snaps, goals. Brisbane need the response. They got it straight away. Marshall wasn't the greatest kick. It was the right idea though. Logan Morris quickly back to his feet and he nails the goal. So good work here from Zorko. Just broke a line once and twice. A kick inside the forward 50 was almost perfect. Euland did all he could, but then Ashcroft, who's important tonight, got a nice feed out to Marshall. Wasn't a great kick, but Morris, what a great gather, kick and goal. He's so important to this forward line, Logan Morris. So Brisbane get the goal they need just to get themselves up and about. So back in the middle we go. Witts with the tap. Running after it here is Dunkley. Free kick's been called out. It's going to go to McCluggage. So now McCluggage drives it back inside that forward 50. Where's Morris? It was in front, couldn't take the mark. Powell, he's almost thrown that away. Umpire says play on. Gives off the handball. Miller shrugged a tackle. Handball over the top to Witts. They link up nicely, give the Suns off half back. Flanders works a kick out wide. Good option. The Gold Coast can settle here with Butterick. So a high ball up. Fort has his name written all over this one. He takes a nice mark. He's done really well so far this last 8 or so weeks, Darcy Fort, to hold his spot in the lineup. And 50 here to Harris Andrews. So the kick went back from Fort to Harris Andrews in the defensive 50, but encroached on the mark there. I think it was Bailey Humphrey. So now Harris Andrews in the middle of the centre square. He sends a high ball. Who's going to fly? They're looking for Morris. Pushed out nearly. McCluggage. Fast hands. Morris with the snap. Kicks it across the face. In fact, he's missed everything. So Dan Rioli will take the kick here in the back pocket. So he just chisels one in short and finds Anderson. So they're looking to use this commentary side here, the Suns. Probably the first time it's been used for the match. He runs his full measure, drives it up the wing, looking for Witts, potentially even Reed. Brought it to ground, soft drop for Rao. Great rove, gives it off to Ainsworth. Who does he want inside the forward 50? Goes to the longest option, great kick, and King takes the mark. Great work there from the Gold Coast. From back 50 to forward 50 was pretty much untouched. Matt Rao, that was brilliant stuff. He's been credited for a lot of great roving plays done this year. Not just getting those hard touches through the early parts of his career where he's getting banged and bruised. Now just such a bursting player. And he really set that up. So Ben King, a chance here to take out the number one Gold Coast goal kicker with this kick. 45-degree angle, 45 metres out. Leaves it out to the right. Doesn't bring it back. So the Lions go up the wing, but it's going to be cut off here by Big Mac. So Mac Andrew had one of the big moments in the final last week. Just works a kick inboard, finds Anderson. He wants to go, switches it on the outer side. He really opens up the play, finds Noble. Usually a good user inside the forward 50. Decides to just go to the top of the goal square. King is there. He went up there as well as Butterick. Ball hits the ground. Bailey gets there first. Handled in the defensive goal square for Leicester. And he works a kick out wide for Fletcher. And now the Lions can go. Streaming off a halfback now. Sends one down up the wing and Cameron's strong hands. So now Charlie sends one through the corridor. It's a dangerous looking kick. Almost read to perfection, but now Rayner with the rove. Left foot ball inside the forward 50. Just too much for McInerney. Out the back was Gallup. Archie chasing it down against the former side on the left boot. Snaps it through. Well done, Cal Archie. Points to the sky. Great finish. Lions get the last two. They are all square. It was a good effort in the middle of the ground there for the Suns. The defender couldn't see who that was, but the spoil just went straight to Rayner, who drived it inside the forward 50, and then Kalachi, so dangerous around the goal face. So scores are all square. Miller looking to try and get it back his team's way. Handball back to Noble. Ducks back past the tackler. They can link up nicely here, the Suns. Powell's handball was interrupted, and now the Lions are sweating on it. Gives up the handball now to Ashcroft. He'll kick it inside the forward 50. Had a little bit too much on it there for Gallup. And a good mark there from Collins. What a game he had last week. Finds Jeffrey at half back, and he just works a kick over the top now to Euland. Looking through the corridor, decides just to give it off to the loping Jeffrey. He takes a bounce. Couple of players trying to track him, but he's too quick. Kick forward here for Long. Great body work on Starskovich. He goes. Top of the goal square once again for King. Gardner couldn't win it. King quick couldn't get a boot to ball. Trying to duck under a tackle of Harris Andrews. Ball ricochets to Ainsworth. Snap on goal. Hits the post. So Gold Coast regain the lead by a slender 1 point. So now the Lions want to go on the outer side. Logan Morris has it on centre wing. Kicks it through the corridor to the heart of the Gabba and Rayner. Strong hands. Lowered his colours last week. Needs to respond. He started well. Handball over the top. Floating ball for Ashcroft. McInerney linking up here with Levi. He switches onto that right boot. Slow, steady is all he needs, but it just goes wide. So now the Gold Coast have it off the back goal square here with Noble. He wants to go high and long. Reed is there at an arm held for a moment. He taps it down like a ruckman brilliantly for Anderson, Miller. And now they stream through the middle of the ground. The Suns, Jeffrey breaking stride. Works the kick inside. Long ball for King. He started well, Ben King. He's looking like the man tonight. So Ben King missed his last opportunity, but this to make him outright the leading goal kicker of the Suns, and he does. He's already kicked 2, Ben King. He's setting up for a big night. So we're back in the middle. Gold Coast seem up for the fight so far. From the tap down, handball from Dunkley misses his target. Rao breaking through tackles as he always does. Reed, handball over the top for Davies. Little tap on was smart, but it wasn't directed well. Wilmot spun almost to 360. Got it out though to Fort. And now they can stream off the half-back line through Marshall. Chiseling ball out wide. Good kick here to Lohman. In the fresh cut, low darting ball. Couldn't hit his target in Morris. Andrews went back almost into traffic, then out of it, then into it. Powers couldn't get down in between his knees and pick up the footy. Cameron sweated on it. Give it off to Levi Ashcroft. Handball to the forward pocket now for Morris. Snapping it to the top of the goal square. Brilliant! Great, clever football from Logan Morris. He's going to be important tonight. And he sets up a golden chance here for Jared Berry. So two of the key forwards of either side looking ominous so far. We've got Ben King down one end, who's kicked 2 goals, and Logan Morris down the other. He's kicked the goal. He's setting up almost a certain one here for Jared Berry. Such an important player for the club. He comes in straight in front, about 25 metres out, has no problem, scores back to all square. So we're back in the middle once again. It's a good start to this one. Back in the ruck we go. Fort with a little tap there. Coming through was Davies. Held up immediately was Will Ashcroft. And we'll have a ball up. So Witt's with the tap. Ricochets off of Berry's chest. Witt's got it back in. Burrowing through as always as Rao. Couldn't get through this time. No avenue to escape. Such an important matchups through that middle of the ground tonight. Fort with the tap again. Dunkley's little pop handball to Bailey. They're working backwards though. That wasn't a great handball. Reed little tap on Farah. Couldn't get a clean handball away. Back into the traffic there, the Lions. But now Davies coming back the other way. Ball ricochets off the side of his boot and Reed held up at centre half forward. So subs for tonight, Bruce Reville for the Brisbane Lions and, of course, the champion of the Gold Coast, David Swallows, the sub for them. So back to work forward here was Jeffrey. Just got a kick away, but it's turned it over. Darcy Fort winds up a long kick towards centre half forward. 2-on-2. Went up was Collins. Ball out the back is Andrews and Noblebank gets shut down from the blind side. May have not noticed that was Kyle Lohman with the new cut. Dragged him down and he was celebrating like he just got a goal with that tackle. That was a very nice play. So just inside the Lions forward 50. Little deft tack there from Fort. Held up was Fiorini. So 7:15 left in the opening term. Scores are all square. So Fort with the tap. Couldn't get it. There was Berry. In and under was Davies. Now Rao just shrugs a tackle. Drives it into the middle of the ground towards the one-on-one. King threw a boot at it. So did Farah. Gets up numbers here with Brisbane. Marshall, long raking handball back to Wilmot. Takes his time and works the kick out wide. Good option. So Brisbane can just settle for the moment here on the wing. So it's Archie, went to go corridor, realised that wasn't the option, just goes back here to Harris Andrews, and they go with a big switch. So now Darcy Gardner, wanting to go on the open side. It's a good-looking kick. It's a bit lofted, but Fletcher's up to it. With a Butterick pressure, just couldn't hold up there. Jasper Fletcher looking through the middle of the ground, realised that's not the option, just sends a 40-metre darting ball towards Dunkley. Fiorini, good pressure. Rao tapped it back towards his teammate, and a ball up again. So back in the ruck, McInerney's in there with Witts. Fisted out towards Ashcroft. He feigned backwards, then kicked it forwards. Bit of a spiral ball, but it's going to work. And it's Ty Gallop who takes the mark. So Ty Gallop, there's a lot of talk in the pre-season about him being the potential Joe Danaher replacement. Hasn't really came onto it as of yet. Has yet to kick an AFL goal, but hey, what a time to get you first. He's got the potential. Now it's time to see it through. He comes in. He's left it out to the right. It won't be a goal. It's lucky to be a point. So now John Noble just works it into the back pocket. Gold Coast haven't got too expansive on the kick-in so far. He just sends a high ball long. Who's going to go up here? There's Witts. Reed was there. Both kind of fell over. Davies had to jump up. Got tackled hard by Dunkley, as you would expect. From the bullocking midfielder of the Lions. We'll have a ball up on the point of the square, Brisbane's way. Witts with this deft tap, work it on. Anderson dropped it though. Strong tackle from Dunkley, and they're right into the Gold Coast captain. Dunkley wants to wheel and go. Sends it to the top of the goal square once again. Who's going to fly? Lohman was there, fisted out the back, runs through for a rush behind. The Gold Coast go quickly on the rebound here. Butterick taps it forward, just hoping for a Gold Coast player to run onto it. He just had to do it himself. Did really well. Gave it off to Flanders. Hamble on the inside. Rao. He swivels his hips. Gives it off to Anderson, who ducks past the tackler from inside 50. Works it wide. Reed should have marked it. Dropped the mark, and then Berry sweats on him with the tackle. Had to take that mark. It was uncontested. Was Ethan Reed, had hands straight on it and dropped it. How you doing, Jacinto? How you up to tonight? Harris Andrews just gave up on it. They work it forward here from stoppage. Wilmot should get there first. Has to clear it. Bit of dangerous area. Up went Berry. Got a free kick for his troubles. Now McCluggage. They go with the advantage here, Brisbane. Works up the kick nicely. They can go now through McInerney. They link up on the outer wing. Ashcroft to Ashcroft. This one's Will. Takes a bounce. Had to duck back on the inside. Affected to Lohman. He didn't have an option, so just had to tread water for the moment. Fletcher gave him some support. Noble put on the pressure. McInerney handles on the inside. McCluggage. Now Berry. Who does he want inside the forward 50? He's got the one-on-one. Good effort from Andrew. Lohman tried to get into a duck tackle. Did okay. Gallop. Underground handball. Hewland stopped it. Handball on the up. Rao shrugged. Almost. Turned it over to Archie. Dangerous player to turn it over to. Knocked through. Free kick's been ripped out. It's going to be going Gold Coast way. So Matt Rao will get the free kick. Got a bit lucky there. Would have been knocked through for a rush behind anyway. Matt Rao's had a good start to this game. Hasn't had a lot of clearances, but he's done his thing. Sends it up towards the wing once again. Forward in front, couldn't mark. Reed, good read. Didn't mean that one as a pun, but he sends it inside the forward 50 for Long. Starskovich fighting hard. Long didn't claim the mark. He dribbles it. He rolls it. And he misses. Should have kicked that one there, Long. Going for the Suns tonight. Travis, Mark. So now the Brisbane Lions are on the commentary side wing. They chisel one down there. Did a pretty good effort here for Archie. He wants to wheel inside. He finds Berry, who's been good so far. Instead of going for goal, does the unselfish thing. Didn't make the distance on Morris. Had to quickly get rid of it. His kick didn't go 15. Ball ricochets to the top of the goal square. Weller under Lohman pressure. Lohman almost pushed him. And umpire says to throw it in as Lohman calls the crowd a cheer. Had a real opportunity there, Brisbane. Jared Berry's kick wasn't great. And Logan Morris would be asking his midfielders to just, lift the kick up a little bit. He'd be grabbing it in between his toes the first couple of kicks to inside the forward 50. From the tap down, Anderson immediately held up by two Lions. Ball up. Late stages opening term. Gold Coast led it by a couple. Seems they're right up for the challenge tonight. Witts with the tap. Rao held up. He added an arm free. Oh, got a bit lucky there, Matt Rao. That should have been holding it. So from the tap down, Witts directed it straight down to a Brisbane player in Ashcroft. He gives it off to Fletcher. High up and under ball to the opposite pocket. Morris almost took the mark. In and under. Almost taken high as well by Collins. Arms thrown out from Gold Coast players. Ball up. Almost held that enough there, Morris. Just dropped it in the follow through. So who's going to fly by? Rayner shrugs the tackle of Noble, kicks it towards goal across the face and behind. So Rioli will take the kick-in duties here for the Suns. Goes on that outer wing once again. Looking for King in the one-on-one. Andrews, strong grab. Looks like they've made that change. Gardner had him early in this one, but he's looked so dangerous. Had to send the captain. And he sends it back inside that forward 50. Up went Rain, had hands on it. Probably should have marked it. Lohman in and under. Noble fumbled. Now Archie got it up. Great work from Collins. Just body-lined it and cleared it outside the defensive area. Standing underneath it was Fort. That was a strong grab. He took the mark, but he played on to his detriment. Now Long in and under. Held up. Ball up with a minute and a half left in the opening term. Both teams would like a late goal. Fort with a little tap. Anderson held up. Got the kick away. Dribbling inside the middle of the ground. Berry, good gather. Gives it off to Wilmot. Just had to put the ball on his boot in haste. High up and under towards the wing. Spoiled down by Witts. He links up nicely. Weller. Fiorini and now Bodie Euland. Oh, he got hit hard late. Umpires called it downfield. So a late chance here for the Suns is Jai Farah. He works it into the pocket and all on his own. The Suns have an opportunity to kick a late goal through Ben Ainsworth. It's going to be a tough kick. He's tucked up right in the pocket here of the Gabba. Right forward pocket. Tough for a right footer. They've been calling that all year, the umpires, with the late hits. It was very late, but... it wasn't late, but it was probably not needed. So Ben Ainsworth, tucked up in the pocket, chance to give his team a lead late in the opening term, and he's left it to the right-hand side. So the Gold Coast just creep back to that 1 point margin. So will the Lions go for a late chance with under a minute? Wilmot goes in short to Lester. He's looking straight through the corridor once again. Realised that wasn't the option, so just works to kick out wide to Dunkley. 20 seconds left. He gives it off to the runner who comes from behind in Berry. He kicks a high ball towards half forward in the one-on-one. McInerney and Collins. Collins does what he always does. Gets it out of bounds. 11 seconds in the opening term remaining. Who gets on the move here for Brisbane at stoppage? McCluggage standing by himself at this stoppage. Ball hit into the defensive 50 for the Suns. Rioli gets there first. He's hit off the side of his boot. That's on the full. Interesting to see where the umpire calls this. Oh, he gets it a little bit closer than maybe the Suns players would like. And who's going to get the free kick here? It's going to be Levi Ashcroft on the point of the 50. The man will stand the mark. Well, your brother lit up a final series last year, Levi. Here's your opportunity to get your name in lights. Game's been on a knife's edge from the outset. Levi Ashcroft kicks it long. He's got a pretty good effort on it. I don't think it's got there, though. So that should finish the opening term. They are score reviewing it, but that did not make the distance. We'll just wait in case there was something crazy that happened out of that. But from all evidence, it looks like it did not make the distance. Cool. Ben King almost spoiled that into the post, though, so that would have been very interesting. But that is the quarter-time scoreline. The Lions, in the most important Q clash in AFL history, lead it at the opening break by 1 point. 3-5-23 the Lions lead the Suns 3-4-22. Alright, let's have a look at the statistics for the opening term, shall we? So looking at it right now, we've got Josh Dunkley leading all comers with the 48 fantasy points. I don't really know if anyone's watching no one would be watching fantasy at this point of the year. But let's look at disposals. 8 to McCluggage. He's had an okay start. He's had a lot of handballs, 3 clearances. That's okay. Jared Berry, I think, has been one of the best on the ground. Along with Noah Anderson with the 8. Noble with 7, along with Fletcher, Dunkley, and Harris Andrews, who's been brilliant so far. On the goal kickers, we have 2 goals to Ben King, only multiple goal kicker on the ground. We've got 1 goal to Logan Morris, Jared Berry, Cal Archie for Brisbane, and 1 goal to the captain, Noah Anderson. Oh, what a feeling, Toyota. So it's a good start to this game. The 30th Q clash, as said in the commentary so far. In Brisbane, do lead it by 1 point, but a lot of wasted opportunities, I think, from the Gold Coast in the opening term. They had a good start, kicked the opening 2 goals, but a lot of bombing forward really just wasted some chances. While Brisbane just played that finals football that we've loved to see over the last, 3 or 4 years now? In the last 10 contests, the side who has won the contested possessions has won the match. So that's Brisbane who have won that. That's a statistic that just popped up there. So players starting to move back into position for the second term. Seems like this one could go right down to the wire. Siren sounds, we are ready to go at the Gabba for the second quarter. It's 1 point the difference. Old brother versus younger brother from the tap down. Trying to soccer it off the ground was Anderson. It will go out wide towards the 50 though. Humphrey tried to get into a move. Good tackle from Leicester. Just got the handball out in the end to Miller. Now Fiorini on the left boot. A rush kick inside the forward 50. Coming in hard was Long. Couldn't take the mark. Quick handball on the up. Starskovich tries to chisel one outside the defensive 50. Good gather in the end from Powell. He broke past 2, 3 tacklers. Just has to find a handball. Good smother was Ashcroft. And now the Lions go on the recounter. Charlie Cameron revving around the Gabba, as we love to see. Handball at the back for Berry. Treads water for the moment. Doesn't have anything long, so they just have to hold up. And then Fletcher finds it in short to Charlie Cameron, who kept on going. Great work, great from Charlie. Just has to go back. Oh, terrible kick as I get praise him. He just absolutely spuds a kick. And now Ainsworth goes back towards Miller. Strong hands from Took Miller. Has to hold up for the moment. So now Miller just sends a high ball inside the forward 50. King is there. Almost dragged it down. Starskovich, handball underground. Did it well to Fletcher. Inside, Zorko. And now they link up here with McCluggage. He broke a tackle. Tried to go through the corridor. Was smothered. Ricochets now to Fletcher. Smothered well there by Miller with the handball. And then Davies' handball was not too great. Rene, surely he's gone. No, he's got a free. So now Brisbane can go. Zorko flares one outside to Cameron. He can go inside the forward 50 to the lead of Morris. That's better. He's had a couple of kicks go in front of him in the opening term, Logan Morris. That one was pinpoint. He's had a good start, Logan Morris. A chance here for his second goal. So Logan Morris, he now leads this forward line. Maybe young in age, but he's playing such a pivotal role for this Brisbane Lions team in 2025. Of course, already a premiership medallion to his name. He snaps around the body. He says, boys, I want another. Good finish from Logan Morris. The Lions kick the opener of the second term. Good kick there from Charlie Cameron inside the forward 50. Didn't have to break stride there, Logan Morris. Sometimes forwards just know how they want it. So back in the middle we go. Fought with the tap. Anderson gathered it in the end. Rao trying to get into a spin move. You're not breaking out of a Josh Dunkley tackle. And a free kick going to go Gold Coast way somehow. So Rao will take it. Lateral ball wide to the runner in Rioli. He's been a welcome inclusion since coming back. Goes towards the pocket looking for King. Couldn't get the mark. Andrews slaps it out towards the boundary line, and Gardner happy to take it over. So it just seems at this moment in time that the Gold Coast need a goal here. Brisbane really seem to assert themselves early in the second term. Gold Coast have it in the right area. So from the tap down, Witts, good tap. Anderson, free kick's been called out. And it's going to go to Matt Rowell again. He got one in the middle of the ground early, about a minute ago, and a chance here for Rowell once again to kick a goal. That's fucking nothing. That is piss weak. Nothing against Rowell, shouldn't have been called. But a chance here for Matt Rowell in his second ever final to put his mark on this game. He comes in from 50 metres out, and the umpire does not move. The Gold Coast get there first of the second term. Great kick from Matt Rowell. It just seems he's built for finals, and he's more than happy to oblige. There is fucking nothing in that. Do we really want finals to be decided by free kicks like that? Like, fuck me. Let it go. Anyway. 16 and a half minutes still to go in this second term. Goal each way in this second quarter. From the tap down, Rayner tried to slap it forward. Bailey stuck an arm out for a bit of a stiff arm, but umpire says that's all good. So Cam Rayner seems to be playing a lot more midfield tonight. Tap down from Witts to said man in Rayner. Couldn't gather the ball. McCluggage held up by Davies, and we'll have another stoppage. So just inching a little bit closer to the Brisbane forward 50. From the tap down once again, it's Dunkley. Anderson was almost pushed away from it. Rowell just bullocking his way through and trying to assert himself in this game. Kicks it out wide. Went for Bailey. Humphrey couldn't mark it. Great read from Wilmot. Handball wasn't so great. Ashcroft was strong. Gardner. Handball through a bit of traffic. Wilmot tried to spin. Powell wasn't letting him go. Umpire calls for it again. Great tackling pressure there from the Gold Coast. Just starting to lift their pressure. So Witts tried to slap it out. Couldn't get it as far anywhere further than McCluggage. And now Berry wheels in, kicks it inside the forward 50. Andrews, strong grab. So Mac Andrew takes a strong mark. Just goes back to Euland. So he wants to go back on this commentary side wing, looking for a teammate. That is Weller. Strong there was Bailey, but he's given away a free kick. So Lockie Weller, of course, another big story at the Gold Coast. Made a big move from Fremantle for a pick 2. And right now, Freo outside the finals, Weller in a final. So long kick up the wing. Harris Andrews spoils it down. Bouncing ball, Rayner got into a move and a stiff arm. And off they go, the Lions. That broke a line. Berry's handball. Blind give was okay to McCluggage. Tried to shrug the tackle. You're not letting go of Rowell. Ball gets away. Weller went to step. Dunkley locked him up. Ashcroft could gather. Gives it back to Berry, who's been influential so far. From outside 50, had an option. Had too much on it, though. And it trickles out of bounds. There was 2 options in the forward pocket. He kicked it in between them and rolled it out of bounds. So Brisbane have it down their end. They lead it by 1 point. Gallop and Witts from the tap down. Coming through, McCluggage had a good start to this game. Went to ground. Now Dunkley, quick little give towards Morris, but he can't beat the boundary line. So many big players at this stoppage here for the Brisbane Lions. Who wants to get on the move? Witts gave it down almost to Ashcroft. That goes high into the Brisbane night sky. It's home! Well done, Will Ashcroft. Just came out of nowhere. Quick boot to ball. And the Lions break out to a 7-point lead once again. Great boot to ball there from Will Ashcroft. Kicked a similar goal in last year's grand final. And of course, probably his best game to date. And they're going to need him tonight. Hasn't had a massive start to this game, but just comes to the fore in the big moments. Will Ashcroft, that was a great goal. A little bit disappointed in the week there. Will Ashcroft wasn't nominated for the best hairdo in the AFL, according to Fox Sports. Wasn't even a nomination, which I thought was absolutely terrible. And comes in on cue again to Dunkley. Now Berry, he's had a very good start to this game, and he works it back out to Josh Dunkley. Who does he want inside the forward 50? Looking for the one-on-one in Lohman. Almost took the mark. Worked on the ground, though. Fed it forward. Lohman, good tap on. And now Rayner tucked up in the pocket, but he should have given a handball. Kicked it out on the fall. So Brisbane just starting to assert themselves in the second term. The Gold Coast have been able to respond multiple times already in this game. So Dan Rioli looking across the goals. He eventually goes for that kick and he hits it well. It's now Joel Jeffrey. And he just works a short kick over the top here to Hewlin. So the Gold Coast have taken a very cautious approach so far when leaving their defensive 50. Handball over the top here to Jeffrey. Great dexterity there from the big guy. Works the kick on the inside. And now Ainsworth. Jeffrey just kept on running, just doesn't stop. He works it back out to him, just in front of the change gates now, the Suns, with no risk. They've done it really well. But now he just goes back to Noble here on centre wing. He sees McAndrew on the other side of the centre square. Has to loft the kick, though. Morris puts on the pressure. Great work. And now Rayner pushes past the tackler. Spins out of it. Did brilliantly. He drives it inside the forward 50 towards the one-on-one. Bailey with a bit of a push. Skids it. Rolls it. Goes! How do you like that? Cam Rayner from the centre square. Blasts it home. Bit of push and shove as you would expect in an EQ clash. They're right into McAndrew there. The Brisbane Lions break out to their game high lead of the match. I would say that's got to be a free kick to Sam Collins, surely. If that was a marking contest in the middle of the ground, that's a free kick from the back. I mean, maybe Collins collapses a little bit easily, but I don't know about that. Anyway. Gold Coast need a little bit of a lift here. They've conceded the last few goals. Lead it by 13 points, big brother. So Witts with the tap once again. McInerney with the clearance. Works it out wide with the kick. Well, going back with the fly, couldn't mark. There was Powell, but the numbers here with the Suns. They link up with Hewland and now Powell. Up the wing it goes, but in front, Lions players everywhere. So Ryan Lester takes the mark. Such a good player, such a reliable player, Ryan Lester. He wants to switch it, sends it towards Starskiewicz in a one-on-one. Strong grab! He wants to wheel and go. Chiseling ball towards the top of the 50. Bailey couldn't mark. Anderson gives it off to Rao. And now they can link up. Now the Suns. Humphreys handball. Gives it off to Ainsworth. He has to go against the grain for the moment. Handballing through the traffic. And now Rioli sends the ball forward. It ricochets. King overrun it. In between his legs. And Andrews. Quick handball on the up. Butterick strong tackle. Level ball up in the Suns forward 50. So a chance here for the Gold Coast. They need a response here. They need a goal. They led through the majority of the night last week against the Dockers and then were challenged. Right now they have to be up for this challenge. Witts with the tap. Rao had an arm held. Spun 360. Just a Fiorino gets shut down from the blind side by Kyle Lohman. Has to be a free. Umpire gives him the biggest reprieve of his life. Ball up in the 50 here for the Suns. That was surely holding the footy. Witts takes it out of the ruck, quickly boots the ball high up and under towards the top of the goal square. Farrer is there, spoiled down by Harris Andrews. In and under was Butterick, beaten to it. And now McCluggage, short little ball, finds his target in Lohman. And the Lions just starting to assert themselves on this contest, standing up to the challenges of the Suns. Archie gives it off to McCluggage. Almost went down, got the handball away. Rioli, good pressure. He wants to go now, Rioli. Has a couple of handball options, finds Fiorini. High up on the ball towards Kang. It couldn't mark. Wilmot held up by Humphrey. Should be rewarded. Umpire says play on. Farah got numbers on the outside. Butterick to Flanders. He snaps. He goes. That'll do. Sam Flanders hits the scoreboard. The Gold Coast get the response they need. Couple of strong moments there from Suns players. Here on the wing, it was great pressure here. McCluggage may have not been tackled, but the pressure was enough. And then Rioli found the right option. Didn't blast away inside the forward 50s. They've done so many times tonight. Gave the handball. Fiorini's kick may not been great, but it hit a dangerous spot. And then Humphrey's tackle pressure was nice. Just got it out to a free man here. Couple of handball link up, and then Flanders' finish was nice. So the Gold Coast get the response they need. They just stay in touch. They'll have their moments tonight, the Gold Coast. They just have to take them. Nearly halfway through the second term. From the tap down, it's Will Ashcroft tried to get the clearance, was smothered. Rolls towards the wing. Anderson tried to turn out of the traffic. Ashcroft, good tackle. Zorko. Free kick's going to be called here to Will Ashcroft. I think they can't take the advantage. No, they're not. Should have been called, if it wasn't going to be called play on, they had to call it earlier. But anyway, they've called it back to Will Ashcroft, centre wing on the commentary side. He runs his full measure in the centre square. High ball, looking forwards, Gallop. Good effort from Andrew to bring that to ground. And now Collins wrapped up by a couple of Brisbane Lions. So who's going to get on the move here for Brisbane? We had Will Ashcroft at the last forward stoppage who kicked a great goal. A little bit further out from the goal face, but wouldn't be surprised if he gets on the move. Flanders couldn't take it cleanly. Archie slapped away. Slapping it now was Powell. He found his target. Miller links up with Anderson. Tried to duck out of the tackler. He did it really well. Shook the hips and then handball forward for Miller, but Wilmot body lined it. Ran the other way. Drives a good 80-metre ball out. The back is Archie. Look at the kick! Well done, Darcy Wilmot. Hasn't missed a game since his debut in the semi-final 3 years ago, and that kick was perfect. So Cal Archie was one of the massive stars in the Brisbane Lions triumph last year. Hasn't had a big final series so far, but a chance here to get himself a goal. He kicks it very wide. In fact, he kicked it right across the face and on the full. So that's tick under 10 minutes to go in this second term. Brisbane have had probably the better first half, but the Gold Coast just staying in touch. So now Andrew sends a high ball up the wing, looking for a flyer. Spoiled down, Fiorini went one way then another. Miller shut down by Rayner. That was a strong tackle. And both players get up, shrug it off, spit the dirt out of their mouths, and they're all good to go. So fought with the tab, a little bit too hot there for McCluggage. Berry was almost held without it. Ball ricochets out to Zorko, sends it on the boot. High ball towards McInerney, but Collins, ever reliable. Wants to go with a switch kick. He hits up Flanders. He's got a handball option, decides to go longer than that to Miller. They've got a bit of overlap here, the Suns. The pink flash is on full display right now. Ainsworth ducks past one, gives the handball off to Powell. He's about to get shut down by pressure, but he was up to it until he wasn't. Wilmot did well. McCluggage, handball to Zorko. They run on the offensive now, Brisbane. Archie has not many options inside the forward 50. Has to wait for the moment. The kick was good. And Gallop claims the mark in between his legs. He gives it off to Zorko. Into the pocket, all on his own. Just has to jump. Oh, what a spoil from Euland. Maybe the spoil of the year. That was perfect. That is so underrated, that spoil. To get that in between the hands of Lohmann jumping at him and not give away a free kick, that was perfect. Saved it almost a certain goal. So we're at a forward stoppage here for Brisbane. They've been dangerous so far. McInerney slaps it to the front. Ashcroft, quick boot to ball again. This one goes up and under, not really close to the goal face. Ball comes off a couple of hands. Rayner driven into the dirt. And a ball up again. Brisbane just locking it in, the pressure cooker of the forward 50. Gold Coast have to be on their game now. McInerney again with a slap down. Powell, he's in a bit of trouble. Ball up again. No Pryor, nothing doing. They're holding up pretty well here, the Suns. McInerney slap out the back. Rayner couldn't take it cleanly, was held without it for a moment. Now McCluggage held up by two pink jumpers. Ball up again. Almost high on Reed in the ruck. Bailey held up immediately by Jeffrey. He wasn't letting him go. They've done it pretty well here, the Suns, but they've got to hold up all the way through this game if they're going to win this one. Can't have a lapse in judgment. McInerney again. Bailey stuck a hand up, almost plucked it. Now Ashcroft quick boot to ball, smothered out of bounds. Good work from the Gold Coast again with their scrambling defence. Umpire throws it back into play once again. Took it out of there was McInerney. Tried to dribble it through a couple of hands and he rolls it through for a behind. Oh, he's turned it straight over here, Noble. He's given it straight to Will Ashcroft. Not great there from John Noble. Of course, missed out on the grand final a couple of years ago with the Pies. Not a good kick at all. Wasn't a good kick there from Noble, but Ashcroft here, a chance to give his team a 14-point lead. He's already kicked one in this second term from stoppage. 45-degree angle, 50 metres out. Ashcroft winds up. It's going to come back to perfection. Ashcroft calling the crowd up and about. He's got two. Great work there from Will Ashcroft. That was a brilliant kick. So many midfielders like that get those opportunities and they miss those goals. They don't really have a set routine, but that looked perfect there from Will Ashcroft. So back in the middle of the ground we go. The Gold Coast having to fight the fight here. From the middle of the ground, Rouse surely giving away a high one. And in fact, he's going to be pinged for holding it. Dunkley is ropeable, but Rao will take the free. Every time the Brisbane lines are broken away, this man has responded. He sends it towards the one-on-one. Reed again had hands on it, couldn't take the mark. Fiorini stood up in all the traffic to try and get a kick away. Ball ricochets out to Noble. Slap on from Flanders. Back to Noble. Floating ball inside the forward 50 goes wide, too wide out on the fall. Just ticked under 7 minutes to go in this first half. So now Wilmot. Short little ball, finds his target Nachi. And he goes back towards Gardner in the middle of the defensive 50. Don't have to take too many risks here, Brisbane. 14-point lead at halftime would be very nice. Goes out wide with the kick, Harris Andrews. And he works the kick over the top now to Starskovic. So now they can go with the Lions. Who does he want inside the forward 50? Just pumps it as far as he can. Looking for McInerney. Collins did well. Cameron almost threw that away. Collins was strong. Got rid of it. And now the Gold Coast can go. Handball off now to Fiorini. Works a good 25-metre ball to find his target and King. A long way out from goal. Way too far out for any sort of score. He'd like to be on the end of this kick, to be honest. So from centre wing. Kicks it towards the 50. Farah goes up. Did well to cause a contest. Ainsworth. Time stopped around him for the moment. Look away handball. Wasn't very great. And now Rayner gives it off. Andrews. And now they go through the middle. Will Ashcroft having a blinding second term. Ducks in board towards Oscar McInerney. Not really a delivery guy. Maybe he should be more often. That was a pinpoint kick. He gives it off to Lohman. Plays on. Goes low. Kicks straight. Maybe a little bit of an aerodynamic haircut. He flew away there, Kyle Lohman. And they're just starting to break away here, Brisbane. Finals is a new kettle of fish for the Gold Coast. They're sitting down the challenge. So back in the middle we go. Umpire's not a great bounce. He'll get that one recalled. So 5.5 left in the second term. Brisbane have kicked the last few. Continue just to break away from the Gold Coast. So from the tap down here, Rao was bullocking through, couldn't get the ball out. Zorko tried to soccer it off the ground, came off of Davies. Now Levi Ashcroft was held for a moment. Dunkley chucking himself in and under, trying to get it out. Davies as well, now fought. Handballed up to Marshall, held up by Miller. Held it a long time there, Marshall. Got a bit lucky. Ball up. So Witts with the tap. Fought, tried to slap it the other way. Ball ricochets in a phone box. Couldn't get it out. Now Marshall, he sat on that. Interesting what the umpire calls here. Ball comes out. Witts tried to get a kick away. Smothered back into the traffic. Slapped out of it again. Butterick in and under. Flanders couldn't take the footy. Now out to Rioli. Overrun it for the moment. Ball comes off the back of his ankle. Flanders gives it back to Euland. He kicks it inside towards the forward 50. It's a good looking kick in for long. Didn't really expect it to get that far, I think. Zorko's handball to Bailey. Starskovic clears it. High ball towards the wing. Going back with the flight was Witts. Couldn't take it cleanly. Flanders held up here by McCluggage. Strong tackle. Seems that Brisbane are just ready to respond after last week's poor performance. From the tap down, Levi Ashcroft was held up. Davies was strong over it. Gives it off to Flanders. Flares on the outside of his boot towards Butterick. Zorko almost marked it. Starskovic could gather. Now the Lions can go. Handball over the top to Marshall. Back to Starskovic, who kept on running. Now they link up here, Brisbane. McCluggage wants it back. He gets it. He's got a handball in on the inside. That's a good-looking ball for Bailey. Tried to duck out of a tackle once and twice, but Miller wasn't letting him go. The spiritual leader comes back with the defensive pressure. Kick towards the middle of the ground for Rao. Dunkley came from the other side of him. Rioli tried to get it forward. Slapped off the ground by Fort. Dunkley gives it off to Zorko. Usually a good user inside the forward 50. And that was almost perfect. Powell. Great scrambling defense to knock it out of bounds. So locked inside the forward 50 here for the Brisbane Lions. Another one here before halftime, I would almost think would break the spirits of the Gold Coast. Break the belief. Witts with the tap. Davies. Handball's interrupted. Seen out of bounds. So we're right on the 50-metre line here for Brisbane. They're just threatening to take this game away at the moment. Witts stood up tall in the ruck, couldn't take the footy with him. Ball comes out. Rioli held up by Dunkley. That was a textbook tackle. Slammed him into the turf as well. Josh Dunkley's having a brilliant game. He gives it off to McCluggage. He's under a bit of pressure. Had to give off the handball to Wilmot. Great pressure here from the Suns. Long. Should have been rewarded. Umpire says play on to McCluggage inside the forward 50 to the flyer in Loman. Spoiled down by Powell as far as Rowell. And now they can go here, the Gold Coast. Rioli sends one out wide. And Butterick can hold up. No, he wants to go. Chance here. Try and get the Brisbane Lions off guard. Great work from Flanders to body line the footy. Realises there's no one around him, so takes a bounce. Has nothing forward. Oh, he's all... Jesus. Go the handball away in the end of Miller. And he sends it long. 2-on-1 in Brisbane's favour. Humphrey causes a contest. Long taps it down. Anderson steals it away from his teammate. Now Farah. Who does he want? Goes with the lateral ball and finds John Noble. Good work from the Suns. That was good work there from Farah. Instead of trying to blast the ball towards goal or do something crazy, just saw a little 15-metre pop kick there to John Noble. An experienced player, played in some finals in his time, and he can take some time to just go back, kick a goal. So John Noble missed out on the grand final in Collingwood colours in 2023, went up to the Suns, and he misses an opportunity there. So Zorko just goes for the ball towards halfback. So the Lions taking a cautious approach as they approach halftime. So Bailey goes back to Gardner. Brisbane will be more than happy to take a 19-point lead into the main break, you'd imagine. He goes over the top to Dunkley, who's been brilliant in this first half. And now Kalaches, who's been told to go back for the moment, switches it in to Fletcher. Brisbane just trying to open up a couple of avenues towards goal late. Wilmot, Chisler down the wing, hits up Berry. Oh, he's given away 50 here, John Noble. Umpire called him to stand. He tracked back. And this opens the door here for the Brisbane Lions to get another one. So Jared Berry just outside the forward 50. He has an option on 50. A little bit wide. He doesn't really want that though. He goes with a low darting ball towards the top of the goal square. Morris was there. Andrew brought it to ground. Loman. Good read. Good gather. Up the Bailey goal. They're so dangerous around the face of goal, the Lions. And a couple of stars combine for a big goal late. As we approach halftime now, the Brisbane Lions just asserting themselves on this match. It may be a semi-final as a bridge too far for the Gold Coast Suns. Five of the last six Brisbane in terms of goals. And right now, I think they're steeling themselves, just ready for a prelim final berth. So back in the middle, 55 seconds left. If Brisbane get another one, who knows what would happen at half-time. Levi Ashcroft gives it off to Dunkley. High up and under ball towards the wing. They've got a runner here, and Fletcher just couldn't take the ball in the air. Has to fight back and get it. Flanders got it out. Butterick was beaten to it. Oh, he did well to get back onto it, though. Held in by an arm. He tried to throw a boot at it as well. Flanders held up by Dunkley, who's fighting like a rabid dog for those tackles. 30 seconds left. So back in the ruck. Tap down from Witts. Ashcroft stolen out of his grasp by his teammate. Marshall gives it off to Fletcher. Sends it up the wing with a bit of a snapping ball. Couldn't take it, was Loman. Powell hit hard there by Gallup. Ball up. So a boundary throw in with 19 seconds left. Brisbane side of the wing. So taken out of the ruck there by Witts. Almost got it to Anderson. McCluggage was sweating on him. Marshall gave it up to McCluggage, looking for the 1-2. Fort said, I'll do it myself. High ball towards the forward 50 for Morris. Couldn't mark. Lohman roved it almost to perfection. Power put on a little bit of pressure. 3 seconds left. Lohman was tackled without it. Euland gave it on the up to Davies, and they just repel the final push forward there, Brisbane. We head into the main break with the Lions leading by 25 points. They've been questioned throughout the week, but they've answered all those questions in this first half. There's still more to come, but right now they're in the box seat for a prelim final berth. At halftime, the Lions lead it by 25 points. 9-6-60, lead the Gold Coast, 5-5-35. All right, guys, we're back in about 20 minutes or so with the second half.
G'day guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are here to take a look at some more trade rumours. Of course, now with the final series in full swing, we do have a bunch of trade rumours coming up as the trade period and the off-season period isn't too far away, and now with a couple of more teams eliminated, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see some more requests come through for movement coming in the next few days. But first of all, we'll start with the official requests that have been made by players. So the worst kept secret in the AFL, of course, is Oscar Allen. He has requested a move from the West Coast Eagles, and Brisbane Lions is where he wants to join. Tom de Koning has made it clear that he wants to join St Kilda. Liam Ryan also has requested a trade to the Saints. We've also seen free agent in Jack Silvani request to move away from Carlton, and his team of choice is St Kilda after doing a medical there. Now, with the Giants going out this weekend in the finals, 2 of their players have requested moves from the club. Lee Kalia has chosen St Kilda as his priority club, and Wade Dirksen, obviously 12 months ago, was rejected from leaving the Giants to go to Melbourne. He has yet again requested a trade to the Demons. And finally, we have Sam Draper, who has decided to depart the Essendon Bombers. He has not chosen a team as of yet, as of recording on Sunday afternoon, but of course the Crows and the Lions have been linked to him the most. So let's get into some trade rumours, and of course the rumour that has been circulating throughout the coming months, and at this point it is reaching fever pitch with Charlie Curnow, the Carlton spearhead, who is looking to leave Carlton according to a lot of rumours. Now the Swans, the Cats, the Gold Coast are the teams that are looking at Charlie Curnow. The Swans seemingly are making Charlie their number 1 target. A lot of reports have said that is the case. In his exit meeting at the Blues, according to Tom Morris, he said that he raised the prospect of a trade, but it was immediately shut down. And he's also met with Sydney Swans coach in Dean Cox as a potential trade move before departing to his USA holidays last week. And he's also willing to take a pay cut to move from the Blues. Now, Carlton have been pretty emphatic on the fact that Charlie will not be leaving in 2025. He'll be at the Blues in 2026, which I think is more than fair. They've got to play on the fact that they want to keep him at the club, and I do think that he will inevitably stay. The Swans have been linked to him, and a lot of people have been bringing up the idea of the Swans having to give up a player with Errol Goulden's capability, or Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner, Nick Blakey. Tom Papley has been linked to the Blues with a potential trade for Charlie Curnow. However, the Swans management quickly shut that one down. Of course, Tom Papley, it was in 2019 when he requested a trade to Carlton. That didn't eventuate. Now he's been brought up again, but it seems that he's pretty happy in New South Wales, so he doesn't want to leave. There's also been a couple of rumours that have been circulating regarding Charlie Curnow being a straight trade for Jed Walter at the Gold Coast. So this will be interesting going into the next few weeks. This definitely won't be decided in the next week or two. I think it's going to have to wait right until probably deadline day of trade period to see where he stays. I still believe that he will be at Carlton next year. I can't see any club being able to get it done, and I really don't think the Blues are going to get rid of him unless a club like the Swans are going to give up a Errol Goulden type or a Nick Blakey type, something like that. I really can't see Carlton willing to give up on a contracted player like Charlie, especially at his best. He is probably best 3 tall forwards of competition, so I really can't see them getting this one done, but of course definitely one to keep an eye on. But it's going to be a busy off-season for the Blues. A couple of players that have been told to look at their options include Elijah Hollins. It does seem that the Blues have asked Elijah to explore his options in the upcoming trade period. He is contracted until the end of 2026, but has had a tough year, has been out of the team for a lot of this year through mental health, so I think that the Blues will be looking to get rid of him. I wouldn't be too surprised if he does stay for one more year, but he is definitely exploring his options. A couple of Eagles players that the Blues have looked at include Jack Petrocelli, who was recently delisted from the Eagles, and Campbell Chesser, a former first-round draftee. It does seem that the Blues have approached him as he is looking for more game time, and the West Coast at this stage are offering him a 2-year contract extension, so keep your eye on that one. Liam Reedy for the Dockers has also been linked to the Blues. Obviously, hasn't played many games for the Dockers. Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson have that spot locked up, so the Blues losing to Koning are going to try and look at a different ruckman. Liam Reedy looks like the guy. Buku Kamas is a very interesting one as well. It seems that the Blues are interested in the contracted Western Bulldogs forward/hybrid player. Has only been able to play 31 games in the last 2 seasons and really hasn't been able to cement his spot in the Dogs lineup, so he's probably looking for more game time. I think we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, so wouldn't be too surprised if the Blues can get that one done. And Adam Treloar's a very interesting one as well. According to Gettable, wouldn't be too surprised if the Dogs look to move him on after a pretty tough year through injury. Hasn't been offered a contract as of yet, and the Blues could be a potential team to look at him. So make sure to let me know down below, Blues fans, what players you want to be getting in the off-season, what players you want to be keeping as well, because I think it's going to be a very big off-season for Carlton. Moving on to a couple of Tigers though, Camden McIntosh has obviously not been offered a contract for the Tigers in 2026. He's expected to explore his options as he wants to continue his AFL career elsewhere, so keep your eye on that one. I don't really know if he's going to be picked up by someone. I think he brings a wealth of experience, of course, being there through the glory years of Richmond, but I think now he's getting towards the end of his career, so maybe a top club or someone that is completely rebuilding would want to bring him to the club and use his wealth of experience, but we'll just have to wait and see. And Tyler Young for the Tigers, a young defender. According to John Ralph, teams are eyeing the developing intercept defender, including North Melbourne, the Dogs, and the West Coast Eagles, who all of them desperately need some defensive reinforcements, so keep your eye on that one. I don't really think they'll get rid of a guy who has got so much potential as a defender, and he's been out for a lot of this year as he suffered an ACL throughout the year, so I think the Tigers will want to keep him on the list for the next few years as well, see if they can get something out of him. Now, the Tigers have also been linked to Malcolm Roses. It seems at this stage that the Tigers are the leaders for Malcolm Roses' signature. The Swans, the Bombers, Melbourne, and Carlton have all been looking at him, but it does seem the Tigers are the club who is the favourite to get him at this stage. But moving to St Kilda now, a couple of players that have been linked to potentially leaving but also coming to the club. First of all, Cal Wilkie. It does seem that the Dogs have made a pretty big offer for him, according to Tom Morris. $4 million to bring him to the club. Now, we obviously heard a couple of weeks ago him being a little bit disgruntled at the Saints. That was quickly squashed by Ross Lyon, but a big offer from the Western Bulldogs. They've got to keep their backyard well truly intact before they go looking for players outside of the club, and I think maybe a couple of them would be a little bit disgruntled thinking about the fact that they're offering so much money for all these players, but some loyal servants like Cal Wilkie maybe a little bit upset the fact that he hasn't been offered these massive deals, so keep your eye on that one. I don't think Cal Wilkie's leaving though. Sam Flanders is an interesting one. He's a contracted Gold Coast player, has been pushed out of that midfield core throughout the year, playing a different role, has been linked to the Saints in years gone by, potentially maybe pushed out of the Gold Coast this year, is contracted until 2027, but the Suns don't really seem to be using him in a role that suits him, so wouldn't be surprised if the Saints can get his signature. Now, Rowan Marshall is a very interesting one. We've been talking about him throughout the year. As soon as Tom de Koning was linked to the Saints, some people have been saying that Rowan Marshall could play as a second fiddle to Tom de Koning. Some are saying that he wants out. Reports from Tom Morris say that he isn't going anywhere. However, according to Damien Barrett, it does seem that this trade link is still up in the air. And Mitch Cleary has also brought up the fact that the Cats are a very big chance to land Rowan Marshall. So keep your eye on that one. I don't know where this one really lies. I've always thought that he would leave. I think he wants to be a number one ruck. But the Cats don't really offer a lot of money for players, so just keep your eye on that one, maybe one to watch. Now, another St Kilda player that has been linked from leaving is Marcus Windhager. It does seem that the Kangas have offered him a 5-year deal, according to Cal Toomey. However, Tom Morris has said that the Saints have upped the offer for Marcus Windhager to a 4-year deal. But we saw some recent news today from SEN saying that the Demons currently lead the race for his signature. So keep your eye on that one. Marcus Windhager, of course, has improved as the season has gone on. So definitely a player that has been linked to quite a few clubs throughout the year. We've seen the Giants, North Melbourne, Melbourne being linked to him. He's always seemed to be on the side of staying at the Saints, and I think now with Nasiah signing for a couple more years, he's one of his best mates. I think he will stay with St Kilda, but one to keep an eye out on. Another player that's been linked to going to St Kilda is Cam Mackenzie. Has been registered a lot of interest in the Hawthorn midfielder throughout the last year or so, and has struggled to get games this year. Cam Mackenzie was a pretty high draft pick at pick 6'7" back in 2022. He is contracted until next year, but the Saints are heavily spending in this off-season, so another player that could potentially be leaving clubs at the end of the season. Max Heath could be another one on the way out of the Saints. It seems that the Demons are looking for another ruckman to potentially take over from Max Gawn in years gone by, especially with the fact that if Ron Marshall was to stay at St Kilda, Max Heath would be falling even further down the pecking order, so Melbourne may be wanting to get him to the club. Now, a couple of Demons players that could be on the outer. First of all, Charlie Spargo. The Premiership Demon has been weighing up options from North Melbourne, who are pretty keen on getting the small forward. So keep your eye on that one, North Melbourne fans. I really don't think this is a good idea. I think that they need to be looking at defenders. That needs to be the number one priority. And then go for small forwards and all these other types. I think their midfield is set. That's why I don't really think they should be going for Marcus Winhager. But Charlie Spargo, if they can get him for absolutely nothing, then maybe that'd be a good deal. But hasn't really been great in the last few years. Now, Stephen May has also been linked to potentially leaving the club. According to Code Sports, that there could be a shake-up on the horizon at Melbourne. Has been a bit up and down this year. Of course, had the controversy with Max Gawn mid-year. And now seems maybe struggling on a bit of form that he could potentially be pushed out as well. And also Christian Petrarca, these murmurings keep on going around that Petrarca could potentially be looking for a fresh start, as the Hawks have been linked to him, along with a couple of other really high profile midfielders. It does seem that Zach Butters is still in play according to Sam McClure. However, Sam McClure, I don't know, take that one with a huge grain of salt, I would imagine. But they've also been linked to the likes of Zach Merritt, Christian Petrarca, like I mentioned, Sam Walsh and Zach Butters. So if Hawthorn go out in the next week or two, I think their off-season plans will be ramped up quite quickly, but have gone through to the next round, to the semi-final. So I think there are still a few puzzle pieces that the Hawks would like for making a premiership tilt in my eyes. But right now, I think a big-bodied midfielder and A-grader is something that they desperately need. Next up, we have Connor Butterick. We've seen many clubs looking at him throughout the year, including the Dogs and North Melbourne. It does seem, though, that Riley Beveridge has confirmed that the Brisbane Lions have entered the race for Connor Butterick, and it's not really out of the ordinary that the Brisbane Lions have tried to poach players out of the Suns. We saw Cal Archie, who has thrived at a different environment, and the Brisbane Lions, so potentially keep your eye on that one. I think Connor Butterick will probably look to move on this year. I think that he's had a pretty solid season at the Gold Coast, but I think that other clubs will offer him a lot more than what the Suns will give him. Now, sticking with Brisbane, there's actually a couple of other players that have been linked to moving. Now, we've talked about Brendan Starskovic throughout the whole year. It does seem Cal Toomey has confirmed that the clubs that are most likely to get Brendan Starskovic at this stage is the West Coast Eagles if he does decide to leave Brisbane. It seems that North Melbourne and Essendon are unlikely to get his signature at this moment in time. So at this stage, it seems like he will return home to West Coast, going to WA, or he'll stay at Brisbane long term. But one that was very interesting throughout the last few weeks is Zach Bailey. Now, the name has not been brought up in a lot of reports early in the last few weeks, but could be a target of the Hawks, according to Fox Sports. But Essendon seem to be preparing a massive deal for Zach Bailey, according to Cal Toomey. It seems that Essendon are preparing a mega offer to try and lure Zach Bailey to the Dons. It is the most lucrative contract in Bombers history to sign him. Now, of course, Zach Bailey just made an All-Australian team for the first time in his career, would be a massive bet for Essendon. Has not really been able to get midfield time at Brisbane, but I think he could be able to run through there if he does get more midfield minutes at a team like the Bombers. And players like Jordan Ridley at Essendon have been linked to go to the Brisbane Lions. It's not an official request at this stage, but he does want to leave Essendon, according to Tom Morris, and their most ideal location for him is the Lions. So if you guys are Brisbane or Essendon fans, make sure to let me know if you would do a straight swap for that one, or if you'd like a little bit more. Jordan Ridley has been a great player when he's been fit, but has been struggled through a lot of injuries throughout his career, while Zach Bailey has been pretty consistent throughout his career. According to Essendon-related rumours, Jaden Laverde has been linked to the GWS Giants. After the game against the Gold Coast a week or so ago, when they had to play that makeup game, he was immediately booked a flight to catch up with GWS, and it seems at this stage that the Giants are looking for a defender to help out with Lee Kalia, likely leaving to the Saints. So keep your eye on that one, Giants fans. They've also been linked to Joel Hamling, Jacob Kaczynski as well, so they definitely want to add some more defensive reinforcements to GWS. Now, Zach Merritt, this is an interesting one, but I really don't see this going anywhere. Many people have believed that clubs are going to try and pry him out of the club. Zach Merritt has been linked to clubs like St Kilda, Hawthorn, and even Collingwood, with two of those three clubs playing in finals this year. So I don't think Zach Merrett's going to leave. I think he's a loyal player. I do understand some people saying that he wants to go and get success, and a couple of Essendon fans have also brought up the fact that he should go and look for success, as the Bombers have really not been able to get to anywhere near some sort of success over the last 10 or so years. Of course, the Suns now actually won their first final after 15 years of not actually making finals, and now it's only the Dons in the last 20 years who have not won a finals game. But I think Zach Merrett will stay. He's been there for so long. Was stuck with them through the COVID years. Has been a star for so many years. I really can't see him leaving. And the final trade rumor I wanted to take a look at is looking at a forward midfielder in Ted Closey. He's the brother of Sam Closey at the Gold Coast. He's a Category B rookie at the Cats. Has never really been able to cement a spot at Geelong, and some clubs are looking to try and bring him to their club. I think Port Adelaide have been linked to him in throughout the season. I think that he probably will look elsewhere if he can find a spot at a different club. But guys, make sure to let me know down below what you think about these trade rumors in this video. As we've got no more video essays coming out this year, we're probably going to be doing weekly trade rumor videos now, as they're coming out pretty quickly. So guys, if you do enjoy this trade rumor series that we've been doing throughout the season, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And I think there's a new hype button or something. Make sure to hype up this video as well. But again guys, thank you for listening, thank you for watching. We'll catch you all in the next trade video. G'day guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are here to take a look at some more trade rumors. Of course, now with the final series in full swing, we do have a bunch of trade rumors coming up, as the trade period and the off-season period isn't too far away. And now with a couple of more teams eliminated, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see some more requests come through for movement coming in the next few days. But first of all, we'll start with the official requests that have been made by players. So the worst kept secret in the AFL, of course, is Oscar Allen. He has requested a move from the West Coast Eagles, and Brisbane Lions is where he wants to join. Tom de Koning has made it clear that he wants to join St Kilda. Liam Ryan also has requested a trade to the Saints. We've also seen free agent in Jack Silvani request to move away from Carlton, and his team of choice is St Kilda after doing a medical there. Now with the Giants going out this weekend in the finals, two of their players have requested moves from the club. Lee Kalia has chosen St Kilda as his priority club, and Wade Dirksen, obviously 12 months ago, was rejected from leaving the Giants to go to Melbourne. He has yet again requested a trade to the Demons. And finally, we have Sam Draper, who has decided to depart the Essendon Bombers. He has not chosen a team as of yet, as of recording on Sunday afternoon, but of course the Crows and the Lions have been linked to him the most. So let's get into some trade rumours, and of course the rumour that has been circulating throughout the coming months, and at this point it is reaching fever pitch, with Charlie Curnow, the Carlton spearhead, who is looking to leave Carlton according to a lot of rumours. Now the Swans, the Cats, the Gold Coast are the teams that are looking at Charlie Curnow. The Swans seemingly are making Charlie their #1 target. A lot of reports have said that is the case. In his exit meeting at the Blues, according to Tom Morris, he said that he raised the prospect of a trade, but it was immediately shut down. And he's also met with Sydney Swans coach in Dean Cox as a potential trade move before departing to his USA holidays last week. And he's also willing to take a pay cut to move from the Blues. Now, Carlton have been pretty emphatic on the fact that Charlie will not be leaving in 2025. He'll be at the Blues in 2026, which I think is more than fair. They've got to play on the fact that they want to keep him at the club, and I do think that he will inevitably stay. The Swans have been linked to him, and a lot of people have been bringing up the idea of the Swans having to give up a player with Errol Goulden's capability, or Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner, Nick Blakey. Tom Papley has been linked to the Blues with a potential trade for Charlie Curnow. However, the Swans management quickly shut that one down. Of course, Tom Papley, it was in 2019 when he requested a trade to Carlton. That didn't eventuate. Now he's been brought up again, but it seems that he's pretty happy in New South Wales, so he doesn't want to leave. There's also been a couple of rumours that have been circulating regarding Charlie Curnow being a straight trade for Jed Walter at the Gold Coast. So this will be interesting going into the next few weeks. This definitely won't be decided in the next week or two. I think it's going to have to wait right until probably deadline day of trade period to see where he stays. I still believe that he will be at Carlton next year. I can't see any club being able to get it done, and I really don't think the Blues are going to get rid of him unless a club like the Swans are going to give up a Errol Goulden type or a Nick Blakey type, something like that. I really can't see Carlton willing to give up on a contracted player like Charlie, especially at his best. He is probably best 3 tall forwards of competition. opposition. So I really can't see them getting this one done, but of course, definitely one to keep an eye on. But it's going to be a busy off-season for the Blues. A couple of players that have been told to look at their options include Elijah Hollins. It does seem that the Blues have asked Elijah to explore his options in the upcoming trade period. He is contracted until the end of 2026, but has had a tough year, has been out of the team for a lot of this year through mental health. So I think that the Blues will be looking to get rid of him. I wouldn't be too surprised if he does stay for one more year, but he is definitely exploring his options. A couple of Eagles players that the Blues have looked at include Jack Petruccelli, who was recently delisted from the Eagles, and Campbell Chesser, a former first-round draftee. It does seem that the Blues have approached him as he is looking for more game time, and the West Coast at this stage are offering him a 2-year contract extension, so keep your eye on that one. Liam Reedy for the Dockers has also been linked to the Blues. Obviously, hasn't played many games for the Dockers. Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson have that spot locked up, so the Blues, losing to Koning, are going to try and look at a different ruckman. Liam Reedy looks like the guy. Buku Kamas is a very interesting one as well. It seems that the Blues are interested in the contracted Western Bulldogs forward/hybrid player. Has only been able to play 31 games in the last 2 seasons and really hasn't been able to cement his spot in the Dogs lineup, so he's probably looking for more game time. I think we talked about him a couple of weeks ago, so wouldn't be too surprised if the Blues can get that one done. And Adam Treloar is a very interesting one as well. According to Gettable, wouldn't be too surprised if the Dogs look to move him on after a pretty tough year through injury. Hasn't been offered a contract as of yet, and the Blues could be a potential team to look at him. So make sure to let me know down below, Blues fans, what players you...
Alright guys, we're back here with the second half. Both teams have returned to the field, and we're about ready to go. So players are ready to go. Interesting to see what the Gold Coast do with Will Ashcroft. He had a brilliant second quarter. 25-point lead. Gold Coast up against it, but can they fight? From the tap down, Witts wins the first tap. Rao gets off the handball. Jeffrey over the top, and the Gold Coast get the first clearance through Weller. He works it over the top to Miller, and he drives it inside the forward 50, looking for the one-on-one. Farah! Perfect start for the Gold Coast. Jai Farah, who's made his way into the team late this season, playing a role. Good grab there from Jai Farah, but now it's all about the finish. Hasn't seen a lot of it tonight. Chance to get them back to within 19 points. Jai Farah comes in. Tucked up in the pocket. Hit it into the post. That would have been the perfect start for the Suns. So Zorko gets it outside the defensive 50 with a perfect kick, so the Brisbane Lions can just hold up at halfback. Works the kick back here, Bailey to Zorko, and he looks straight through the corridor. Pinpoint kick almost, but it works out to McCluggage. Handball over the top to Rayner, about to get shut down from Fiorini. Got the handball away just in time. Ashcroft, who was brilliant in the first half, comes in and kicks it perfectly to Kyle Lohman. Just continues on where he left off in that first half there, Will Ashcroft. Well, the Gold Coast had an opportunity down one end to get themselves back into it. Kyle Lohman down the other end. Almost shuts the gate. Sends it out to a 5-goal lead. They've got little brother at breaking strain right now, the Lions. He's had a tough year, Kyle Lohman's been ravaged by injury. Comes back in this final series. Didn't have a big game last week, but can have his moments. And that was a good finish too. Good finish there from Kyle Lohman. That umpire did not have to move. So back in the middle we go. Wits with the tap. Bailey trying to burrow his way through. Miller did well. Gave it up to Anderson. These guys need to lift. Got a dribbling ball out the area. Zorko pushed to the ground. Had a chance to get rid of it. Ooh, got a bit lucky there. He's had a very good game, Dane Zorko. Leading from the front through that back 50. Wits got a fingernail on it. Anderson with the spin. Bailey Humphrey hasn't had much impact. Got the ball bouncing forward. It's a bit of a chaos ball. Starskovich just got the handball away. Fletcher under some pressure. Did well to stand up to it. Bouncing ball outside the defensive area, but the Gold Coast have numbers. Rioli to Fiorini. Inside to Miller. Top of the goal square. He lets it fly. And Andrews. Strong grab. It's a real mature performance from Brisbane. They just continue on their merry way. Dunkley just works it short. The Lions just trying to take a little bit of sting out of it early in this third term. High ball from McCluggage down the wing. Morris couldn't mark. Tapped out there from Bailey. Up in the one-on-one. Good pick up from Rioli. Gave it up to Jeffrey. Looking through the corridor. Now has to go. Not a good looking kick. Good read from Berry. He wanted to go. Had to realise he had to come off the mark. Got the kick forward. Numbers are there. Just have to work it out. Loman couldn't mark. The fly was almost perfect. And then Jeffrey with a goal-saving tackle in the goal square. That's very well could have saved their finals hopes. That effort there from Joel Jeffrey. McInerney with the tap. Dangerous spot. Sock it out in midair there. Weller. Leicester couldn't mark. Flanders got taken high. Play on, says the umpire. No, they'll bring it back. So they survive a couple of real big chances there for Brisbane. The Gold Coast get a little bit lucky, I would say. So Flanders just goes back to Euland, and they want to go off this commentary side wing. He takes a bounce. What does he want at Euland? Oh, he tried to get the kick away. Came off the instep. May work here. Fiorini got it pressured here by Archie. Threw that away. Umpire says play on. Collins back to Rioli. Short ball up the wing. Held the mark there, Butterick, but was also held up in the process. Short kick, lateral ball on the inside to Powell. Looked in the corridor. Realised that wasn't the option. So what does he want here, Will Powell? He goes very wide with the kick. It's a 2-on-2. Up goes Reed. So did King. Neither could mark. Gets out the back. Harris Andrews sees it out. 15 and a half left in this third term. Gold Coast had the first opportunity, which went into the post, while Brisbane down the other. Kick truly. Lead by 30 points in the box seat right now. So in the ruck we go. Wits, little deft tap down to Rao. Immediately pressured up by Rayner. Strong tackle. He's been good tonight, Cam Rayner. It's been a good response. Taken almost out of the ruck, but McCluggage did well. Gave it up to Berry. Blasted outside the area. Goes wide. It's a bit of a running race. It's Jeffrey and Cameron. Cameron, good gatherer. Then he gets into a spin move, breaks the ankles of Jeffries. He slides on the Gabba turf. Inside kick to Will Ashcroft. He can break the heart of the younger brother. Will Ashcroft misses. Oh, it looked like he was about to get ready to get into a celebration there, Will Ashcroft. It was great work from Cameron on the wing. That deserved a goal. So now Powell kicks it up the wing once again. Strong hands from Wits. They're just holding on by the skin of their teeth here, the Gold Coast. Wits wheels onto that left boot. High ball for Mac Andrews. Should have marked it. There's so many drop marks tonight from the Gold Coast. Looks like Mac Andrews been sent forward here. They've tried to get something going in the Gold Coast. They did this last week late to get that win back against Freo, but right now, very early call. They know they need to do something. Handball missed its target. Ashcroft against the grain, back to Fort. He sends the ball dribbling up the wing. It's going to go wide. Stays in bounds for the moment. Euland held up. Ball up. Wouldn't be too surprised if the Gold Coast make their sub change soon. David Swallow, maybe a little bit of a spark from the veteran. So thrown back into play. Wits with the tap. Rayner trying to get it in between his legs. Did it well. Broke the tackle. He's been a bullocking ball all night. High ball inside once again. Up goes Morris. Went up a bit early. So Collins inside to Euland. He's got Noble. He hits it. Just so many possessions under pressure here for the Gold Coast. They're finding it so hard to transition. He finds Fiorini. Had the wing, didn't really want to go for it. He's looking in the corridor a bit, but he realises that's not the option. He goes long, looking for Mac Andrew. King standing in front. Andrews with the spoil. Free kick's going to be called down to Ben King. Had a brilliant start. Hasn't really seen it since. So now King. Top of the goal square. Reed is there. Flying in front is Jared Berry. He's had a brilliant night. So many Lions have been so good. He's been one of their best. So now Darcy Wilmot. Into the other defensive pocket. Berry up towards Andrews. So Harris Andrews has it. Went with the long kick up the wing. It was a good smother there from King. Ball now lands with Fiorini. Quick give off to Flanders. Usually a good user. Little stabbing kick here. Strong hands from Reed. That's better. He had King in short. It was a pretty hard kick to kick. So he just drills one in short and finds Humphrey. Good grab there from Bailey Humphreys. Hardly seen it tonight. But a chance here to get his team back in it. Oh, this is a bit of an awkward one. He's going around the body straight in front from 30 metres out here, Bailey Humphrey. Had a brilliant first half against Freo last week. He comes in. It's going to bend. Way too much. Straight in front, 30 metres out there, Bailey Humphrey. He decided to go around the body, and guess what he did? He hooked it. It's not like old man yells at cloud, but what the fuck are you doing? Oh, hang on a minute. Brisbane have made a mess of it. Flanders trying to get the handball back to Andrew. Missed his target. Leicester cleaning up the mess for Brisbane as he's done for his whole career. Handball over the top to Ashcroft. They can link up and go here, Brisbane. They can put the knockout blow. Rayner, feign the give it off the handball. Did it well. Handball now to Ashcroft. Tried to struggle the tackle. They've got numbers everywhere, Brisbane. Now Archie looks at everything in front of him. He goes to the opposite pocket looking for the one-on-one. Great grab. Zach Bailey. Zach Bailey wheels around, snaps on goal, breaking hearts. Good finish from Zach Bailey. Brisbane proving too strong. Bit of push and shove right now, but it's all for nothing really if you're a Gold Coast player. Just showing a little bit of maturity here, the Brisbane Lions. A lot of people calling for the Lions potentially going out in straight sets tonight, but right now they're proving the difference. They're proving they're a difference in quality, this team. McCluggage couldn't take it. Held up immediately was Will Powell. Stoppage called. 11:19 left in this third quarter. The Gold Coast looking like they may be making their final call here for David Swallow. Seems like it's time. Anderson couldn't take it. Tripping out of the traffic. Rayner, he's been brilliant. Towards half forward with the kick. Gallup couldn't mark. Read it well there. Ashcroft, he's been so good. The kick just missed his target for Lohman. Collins gave it on the up to Jeffrey. Gold Coast want to go. Handball again. Just had to stall Butterick for the moment. Morris put on the pressure, and that was perfect. Brisbane have all the answers. So the kick crosses Across there from Wilmot. Now they go long, Brisbane. Spoiled down by Collins. Archie couldn't rove it. Morris. Handball's interrupted. Gold Coast can link up. Reed, another fumble. He's been a bit fumbly tonight. Miller did well. Up to Reed. Jammed it on the boot, up the wing. Turned it over to Harris Andrews. He goes back to Gardner. And now Gardner goes wide. Sends it to Leicester. Looking a little bit central. Up goes Archie. Almost took a specky. Taken high was Rioli. So Matty Rowell having a chat with David Swallow at the moment. 10 minutes left in this third term. Surely they have to pull that string now. Might as well give David Swallow a go. He was the match winner last week. Going to need something here. High ball. At the back is Humphrey. Ball skids. King. Good tackle on Gardner. Dribble it out of bounds. And it's insufficient intent. Free kick here for the Gold Coast. Ben Ainsworth has it. So now Ainsworth winds up. Top of the goal square. Mac Andrews there. Reed as well. Spoiled through brilliantly there from Brisbane. It was Oscar McInerney with the final touch. Two goals to nothing in this third term from the Brisbane Lions. They have really asserted themselves in this game. Levi Ashcroft kicks it up the wing. Collins did well to fist it away. Bouncing ball towards the boundary line, eventually seen out. 70 out from the Gold Coast goal. 9.5 left in this third quarter. Really hard to see an artsy here from the Suns. David Swallow's about to make his way on. May well be his final game. From the ruck contest, McInerney stolen out of his grasp by Humphrey. Quickly give up to Miller. He wants the perfect option. Anderson handball was too low. And a turnover once again. Fletcher's kick was smothered though. Locking it in the area here, the Suns. Noble. Handball back to Farah. Further eyed here to Fiorini. And he can work a short little ball out wide to Flanders. So, offensive side of the wing. Short little lead up kick was nice. Hit up David Swallow. First touch for him. Was the hero last week. He's going to have to do an almighty effort to get his team over the line now. Drives it long for Big Mac. Couldn't take the mark. Fiorini roped it nicely. Went for the snap. Good smother from Fletcher. Locking it in though, the Suns. They've been good the last 5 minutes. A goal would give them a little bit of hope. So from the tap down, McCluggage went the kick, turned it over. Mac Andrew jammed it on the boot. High up and under ball goes across the face of goal. Harris Andrews with the mark. Kick out wide. Brisbane want to go. Bailey. Kick in the corridor was nice. It's up Cameron. He looking straight through the middle of the ground. It's a good looking ball there for Ashcroft. He wants to play on. Blind handball over the top to Rayner. Steps past one. Steps past two. On the left boot. Reminiscent of the last final in the prelim final, that kick, but just goes wide. They're threatening here, the Lions. So Bodie Hewland has it. They look a bit tired here, the Suns. Kick on the up. Just on the defensive side of the wing here, the Gold Coast. So up the wing they go. Harris Andrews taking the front spot on King. Hit to the ground long. Hasn't seen a lot of it tonight. Another ball up. So it's Ethan Reid who's been subbed out, trying to inject a little bit of pace, a little bit of experience in this lineup now. Hasn't been his night, Ethan Reid. So McInerney with the tap. Davies' handball was immediately smothered. And ball goes out again. McInerney with the tap. McCluggage immediately tackled by Rouse. Somehow got it out of there. Did really well. Now Berry up to Wilmot. Inside out a kick forward. Morris, good grab. Farrell was on his hammer, but he stood tall. He wants to wheel and go. They want the knockout blow here, Brisbane. He goes long. Good mark from Collins. So now Collins. Oh, it's a bit of a floater, but it's worked out okay, that kick. So now Jeffrey goes to the long kick. One-on-one, Swallow up against Starskovic. Swallow did well. He's fighting for it. Got the ball held, surely. And then McCluggage goes in high on Butterick. Free kick there to Butterick, holding his head. Seems okay. Shaking it off. Tough nut there, Connor Butterick. Oh. So he goes in short to Rao. Need the next goal here, the Gold Coast. If they can get one, maybe they can get on a rally. Maybe they can rally. Goes towards the pocket. Darcy Ford has his name written all over it. Didn't get a clean fist on it, but he did enough to get it out of bounds. 6 minutes left. Gold Coast just don't seem like they'll be able to get a goal here. So many hard avenues to goal. Brisbane have done really well in defence tonight. Fought with the tap. Rao stuck a hand out. McCluggage went in harder. Miller held him up. Oh! Well, hang on a moment. They've called a free kick for holding the footy. McCluggage is bemused. I am too. I think most people in Australia are bemused by that holding the ball decision. Like to call that again. Well, it took Miller. If you can say any player is the heartbeat of this club, David Swallow number 1, took Miller number 2. Lived the dream of winning a final last week. Now he's living a nightmare. So Gardner goes up the wing and Cameron strong hands in the marking contest. So the Brisbane Lions going for a bit of a switch here. 35 points they lead. 5 minutes left in the quarter. Fletcher goes with the long ball for Leicester. Strong hands from the veteran. He wants to go. Gives it off to the runner in Marshall. He ducks back towards the corridor. The kick's dangerous in between 4-on-1. And now the Lions are going to win out. Berry has the handball option in Will Ashcroft. He goes long and wide. They're just leaving the door ajar here, Brisbane. They've missed a couple of opportunities to put this game to bed. So now Power sends it up that wing once again, but Brisbane have all the answers. Jared Berry again. How many times has he done this tonight? He wants to send it long. They want to get the knockout blow here, Brisbane. Collins can't win it, Morris! No, it was Ty Gallop. What a grab from the kid. What a grab against such a big opponent in Sam Collins. Shows maturity and age there, Ty Gallop. Is yet to kick an AFL goal. This would get the Gabba crowd up and about. 4th game of AFL football. He snaps on goal. They'll get around him. Great work from the kid. What a moment to kick your first AFL goal in a final, a crucial clutch final. And the kid is showing signs of what Brisbane fans are going to be seeing for years to come. Well, that's probably got the game done. So now in the middle of the ground, the Lions just breaking away here with Fort. High ball inside the forward 50. Rain out hands, couldn't take the mark. Bailey flashing through, couldn't take the footy with him. Jeffrey, handball now to Noble. He works it over the top now to Fiorini. And then off go the Gold Coast down the outer wing. High ball. Andrews still fighting the good fight. Did it well. Wilmot, handball inside. Dunkley and Fort once again. High up and under ball. Standing underneath it was Euland. They want to switch it now, the Gold Coast. Well, they just have to go. They just have to fight. Farah goes to ground. He's giving it up. He's fighting. And they win the free kick. So Ty Gallup has it. Just realising how great a footy career is going to be at the Brisbane Lions. Goes to the top of the goal square. McInerney couldn't mark. Oh, the fumble. McInerney the snap. Good work. Oh, no. Oh, Cameron. He's kicked it into the post. Oh, he's just... hasn't been his year, Charlie Cameron. So got it out on the wing here. The Gold Coast Farah gets another bad bounce. Hasn't really been his night. Gallup's working his way into it. Fletcher gives it off to Dunkley. Breaking tackles for fun. Berry beaten to it. Rao couldn't win it. Euland in there. Weller fighting hard. Ball in dispute. Ball up. 2:20 left. 43 points the margin. Back in the ruck we go. Fort with the tap. Rao was held immediately. Ball comes out. Jeffrey held up by Rayner. Been so good tonight. Ball up. So back in the ruck once again. Witt slaps it out. Rao tried to handball back over the top of his head. Humphrey tracking it forward. Miller did well. Back to Bailey Humphrey. Oop, that kick actually worked. Gives it off to Davies. Who does he want inside the forward 50? It's a bit of a floater. Couldn't take it. It was Lester. Couldn't read the weird tracking football. Archie. He's gone. Good work from Swallow. He'll fight this out to the end. This is going to be his last game if they lose. High ball towards the top of the goal square. Ainsworth jumping back. Couldn't mark, out of bounds. Minute 39 left in the quarter. So back in the ruck we go. Witts with a deft tap towards Miller. Held players falling back there in the contest. We'll have a ball up. So Fort with the tap. Flashing through with Swallow. Miller trying to get it out of there. Held up by two Lions. They've been so good in the defensive 50 tonight, the Lions. Dunkley being so good tonight on Matt Rao. Ford almost got a hand in the face. Dunkley tried to punch it away. Coming through was Humphrey. Blasted a goal. Wide out on the full. Hasn't been his night, Bailey Humphrey, either. So it's going to be a throw in here. Archie, I don't know what he was thinking. He ran and played on out of bounds and then kicked it through the points. I think you learned that when you first play footy in the Oz kick. Anyway, from the tap down, Miller tried to get rid of it. Now Swallow got it out. Well done. Jeffrey off to Humphrey. Tried to get into a move. Realised that wasn't the option. High ball up and under towards the top of the goal square. King can't win. Archie, good mark. He goes in short to Zorko. 45 seconds left in the third term. The Brisbane fans may have been a bit worried last week, but all those worries have been dashed. High ball, good mark from Gallup. This guy's coming into it. So Gallup just sends it up towards the one-on-one. McCluggage at the back. He didn't mark it. Did everything but mark it. And he had players running towards goal. And he missed it. Probably the biggest mistake of the game from Hugh McCluggage so far. He's been so good. So back in the ruck once again with the tap down. Wilmot held up immediately. 12 seconds left. We're about to hear the siren for three-quarter time. Hasn't been a dimmer masterclass like we saw last week. Unfortunately, the Gold Coast, a little bit of a flash in the pan tonight. Ashcroft, good pick up. Ducks past the tackler, sends it long. Maybe one last opportunity here for Brisbane. High ball, spoiled. Collins couldn't get there. Siren sounds. And the crowd at Brisbane stand as one. They know that they're on their way to the MCG next week. At three-quarter time, the Lions lead it 82-39. My way, on my way, on my way, on my way. Let's have a look at the statistics for the final term. All right, that one. All right, let's have a look. So looking at it right now, Josh Dunkley's been so good. Looking at it, you're like, yeah, 109 fantasy. Those 15 tackles, they have all stuck. He's been so good tonight. Will Ashcroft, probably been best player on the ground in my eyes for Brisbane, or overall, he's been really good. Jared Berry, really underrated performance tonight from him. He's been so good as well. I mean, most Brisbane players have had their moments as well. I wouldn't say anyone's had a bad game. I mean, even players like Sam Marshall, Brendan Starskovich, Levi Ashcroft. I mean, maybe Charlie Cameron a little bit down. I know he's had some moments, but hasn't done a lot tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if they sub out one of the big three for Brisbane, especially one of their midfielders with players like Neil out for the rest of the season. Wouldn't be too surprised if they sub out a Will Ashcroft or a Josh Dunkley in the final term. Or maybe even a Hugh McCluggage, who hasn't had a massive night, but he's had his moments. Oh, my fucking neck, bro. Delicious. starting to move back into position for the final term. They're just going through a couple of matchups throughout the night. Cam Rayner's had 8 tackles broken. He's broken 8 tackles tonight, which is the most since Dustin Martin in the 2017. Sorry, most in a final since 2017's prelim with Dustin Martin. So you can just see the caliber of player that he can be. Cam Rayner has been so good tonight. It's going to be so important going into the next few weeks as well if they are going to be able to win their next 3 finals and go all the way to the promised land once again. So players are ready to go. 3 quarter time is done. 1 more quarter in the season, most likely for the Gold Coast. They'd have to produce a miracle to get back from here. Brisbane Lions have done so well in the first 3 quarters. So here we go. From the tap down, Anderson hasn't had much impact since the opening term. Bailey got the ball stripped from him. Wilmot soccers it off the ground. 50 metres out wide. Lohman tracking it. Skids towards the boundary line out of bounds. From the tap down, Witts coming through as Rayner almost stole it. Flanders' kick comes off the side of the boot into the middle of the ground. Tap forward by Zorko. Punched it a good 40 metres. Now Cameron held up by Power. Strong tackle. Should be rewarded. Oh, he's given away a free kick here, Will Power. It's going to Charlie Cameron. Well, the Gabba crowd will like it, but I don't think the rest of the competition will. That was pretty poor. He dropped the footy. He's had a good night, Will Power. Now it could be all undone by a goal from Charlie. Well, it's the only thing that really hasn't came to the fore tonight is Charlie Cameron. Hasn't done much. He's had a few good touches, done a few good things. But I'm sure the Gabba crowd want to have John Denver ringing around the ground. He comes in, he kicks it a bit wide and doesn't score a goal. So first score of the final term for Brisbane is only a minor. So ball up the wing. Gold Coast fighting for it. So was Rao. Did well. Miller. Handball into traffic for Butterick. Couldn't do much about it. Logan Morris with a good tackle. Couple of people in the crowd there. Stephen King, of course, the new Melbourne coach, watching on. Nathan Murphy as well, former Pie. Anderson somehow kept it in. Gives it back to Fiorini. Strong work there from Rayner to smother it. Fiorini goes back and get it. Power. Great pressure from Brisbane. They may have won this game, but they want to keep on fighting. And now Cam Rayner lines up the goals and he missed. So ball gets out the back here on the outer wing. The Gold Coast can break away. Weller wants to use it well inside the forward 50. The kick wasn't great. Leicester should have tracked it a bit better. Pressure with Brisbane. They did it well. And now Charlie Cameron right back in the defensive 50, lending a hand. The kick wasn't great. Mac Andrews spoiled it out of bounds. The Gold Coast lock it in. 45 points to the margin. So Fort trying to take it out of the ruck. Anderson was there. So was Flanders. Ball gets out. Did well Cameron. Quick on the up to Ashcroft. He drives it forward. Rayner went up about a year too early. Gives away a free. Crowd becomes a little bit quiet now. They just need something to spark them. At the moment, Collins has it. Just sends it high up the chimney says go fly for that one. Humphrey did, almost dragged it down. Did well to gather it on the rove. Gives it out wide to Flanders. He trucks back inside. Kick wasn't great again. It's been terrible going inside the forward 50 for the Gold Coast tonight. Did well there. Zorko and Gallop out on the wing. I don't know what he took at half time, but may have to check his P. He's been brilliant. Works the kick up the wing. Good looking ball here for Morris. Those two are going to be a great combination for years to come up in the northern state. It's a short kick, and now the Lions can bomb it long. High ball, and Jeffrey put his fist straight into it. So inside the forward 50 here for the Lions. They want the knockout blow here. They've already got the win, but a nice goal, a little cherry on top. Jeffrey just took that out of the bounds a little bit too easily, and Zach Bailey will take the free kick for insufficient intent. Yeah, everyone knew where Joel Jeffrey wanted to take that footy. He didn't really disguise it. Now Zach Bailey an opportunity to really pile on the pain. So Zach Bailey, not really rated as much as he is up in the Brisbane Lions. He comes around the body. He snapped it too skinny. So now ball goes outside the defensive 50. Did well, Weller. Strong in the marking contest. Anderson, handball over the top to Miller. They can link up here, the Gold Coast. Rao about to jump into a bit of traffic. Just took the bump, went to ground, got the handball away. Gold Coast take the advantage on the outer side. Interesting to look at that free kick there for Matt Rao, because that may have been a high bump from Gardner. May have to watch that one. But now Long hasn't had much impact. Sends it towards the top of the goal square, but Gardner standing tall. He was one of the players who missed out last year, Darcy Gardner. He'll want to get back to that stage. Bailey, little tap onto Morris. They got the overlap here, Brisbane. Out the back, just has to hit the kick to Lohman. He put too much on it. So Bruce Reville about to make his way onto the ground for the first time. The Bruce chant goes around the Gabba. They love Bruce Reville. So Witt slaps it out wide and trickles out again. So interesting call to see who gets subbed out here. I wouldn't be too surprised if Brisbane sub out an important player like a McCluggage, who obviously did have a bit of an injury concern coming into this game. So important to their finals push here, the Brisbane Lions for the Lions. Thrown back into play. Witts tapped it down. Rao went to spin, got the handball away just in time. Spiked back the other way from Berry only as far as Euland. He wants to kick across the defensive 50, standing underneath as well. He's been good in the final term, and off he goes. Looks at the young man and Marshall tracking him, says he got him covered. He takes a second bounce. Weller drives it inside the forward 50 for Big Mac, but Big Harris Andrews stands in the way. So a short ball now to Wilmot. Oh, the kick came off the instep. Ball runs past everyone. It actually may work. Gallop on the up. Berry, Ashcroft, back to Berry. These two have been so good tonight. Berry has all the time in the world. Little chiseler over the top. Bailey, who does he want inside the forward 50? Lohman, too much on it for him. Archie, part of the C's. Off the Big O, who goes wide. No one wants to kick the big goal here for Brisbane. No one wants to get this crowd up and about. They are begging for someone to finish a goal in this final term to get them up and about. Last time they'll see them this year, the Brisbane crowd. So David Swallow has it. Unfortunately, his career will end on 249 games. He's been so good for this club. I'm sure his highlight in that final last week will be big enough for him, I think, to end his career. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done for him tonight. So Bailey Humphrey has it just outside 50. He winds up a big ball. It will go to the top of the goal square almost, and Harris Andrews. It's been so good tonight. Oh, the kick wasn't great. Turned it over, and Powell read it well, knocked it out of bounds. So neither ruckman could get there. Anderson tried to bring it down. Ashcroft did well. Bailey, handball over the top. Now Marshall, coming off that half-back line, kicks it inboard. Good kick in the end to Lohman. Couple of options in the corridor. Looks like Gallop all on his own, galloping through the middle of the Gabba. Decided not to go there. Works it out wide instead and kicks it straight on the full. So works the kick forward in the Gold Coast. McAndrew, the move for him forward hasn't been as influential as it was last week. Looking for King. Harris Andrews again. It's been so good in this game. Putting on a clinic in this final term, Harris Andrews. So Sam Marshall seems to be the player subbed out here for the Lions. Interesting call. The Lions can work this forward now. They've got it all the way to Logan. Is it Ty Gallop again? He's been so good in the second half. Off he goes. High ball inside the forward 50. Who's going to fly for Brisbane? Up went Rayner. Couldn't take it. Lohman wheels around on the right boot. Looking for an option. Almost pinpoint. Rao still fighting the good fight. Wilmot. Handball over the top. Ashcroft. Little deft tap. Over to Bruce. Misses. Kicked it on the full, Bruce. Absolutely ruined it there, Reveal. Fucking hell. Might as well drop him off the ground there, please, Chris. That was fucking dreadful. So a long kick here from the Suns. Get outside the defensive 50. They find Ben Long on the wing. He's had a really good season, Ben Long. Unfortunately, his season will end with a loss. And not a great game from him. Good kick there to Bailey Humphrey. Zorko wasn't impressed by it. Oh, a bit of push and shove. You don't mind it. So now Humphrey kicks it in towards the pocket. Out the back with Swallow. Good spoil from Gardner. Was shown up early against Ben King. They quickly made the change to the Lions. Harris Andrews sent the captain to the dangerous forward, and it's worked wonders. Gold Coast really haven't had an impact up forward since then. They've only kicked 3 goals since the opening minutes of the game. Still 11-20 left in this one. Still no goal in this final term. Witts try to take it out of the ruck almost. Cleared all for 10 metres by Wilmot. Land to the hands of Ashcroft. Little stabbing ball out wide. Missed its target. Farah on the up. Powell out back. Noble looking for an option. Spun around to 360. Still has nothing. Eventually just kicks it into the pocket in hope. Hyatt went up. Couldn't take the mark. Humphrey. Great rove. Feigns a handball on the outside. Kicks across the goal. The bounce is important. It goes right across the face. And good read from Fletcher. Gives it back to Andrews. Kick forward was nice to Bailey. And he can hold up for a moment. Had to step out of the tackle of Swallow, who'll always fight, but Bailey's kick was terrible. Seems like both teams have put the cue on the rack, it seems. Powell's kick towards half forward. Good mark from Swallow. Unfortunately, this will be his final game, David Swallow, but he can still have a little bit of an impact late. High to the top of the goal square. Humphreys in a pack. Couldn't take the mark. Berry handball outside the area for the moment. Good gather from Bailey. Can they go? Got held without it for a moment. There was Bailey. Rowell will always fight the good fight. Kick in board. Just went to 15 to Butterick. No, it was Ainsworth. Right on the stroke of the 10-minute mark of the final term. So now Ben Ainsworth, he'll kick from in front. Not too much angle to speak of. From the 50-metre line, he kicks it well. He's been around there for a long time, biding his time, waiting for some success. And hopefully in the next couple of years they can find it. Good finish there from Ainsworth. First goal of the final term for the Gold Coast. So back in the middle we go. 9.5 left in the Gold Coast season. Brisbane have bigger fish to fry. McCluggage still fighting the good fight. Did it really well. Campbell on the up. Finds it to Fort. Kick over the top. Miller just waits for the ball to bounce. Ashcroft, strong tackle. Handball off to Davies. Ricochets back to Miller. They're working okay. And then ducking. There was Rioli. Umpire calls for a ball up. Back in the ruck. Ashcroft couldn't get it. McCluggage did it well. Kicked towards half forward. Missed it there. Was Lohman tracking the footy. Spun. Handballed it out. Cameron beat his target. They just need Charlie to join the party. But he missed again. So Rioli goes in short to Sam Flanders at halfback. Little kick over the top was just put Jeffrey under all sorts of pressure. Wilmot takes a good mark. He's got a couple of options inside the forward 50, Darcy Wilmot. Who does he want? Goes for the longest option. Looking for Morris. Got blocked out of it a little. Collins did well. Handball through to Miller. Oh, he did look away. Handball's a bit ominous. Berry gives it off to Fletcher. Quick boot to ball. Finds his target and the lines will line up through Bailey. Weird handball there from Took Miller. Zach Bailey, one of the most important players in their team, was so influential last year and he can still have an impact in 2025. They finally get their first goal of the final term, Brisbane. They've shown little brother a lesson tonight. Lockie Neal in the crowd. They'd love to have him out there. Most people have said he's been ruled out, but he is not ruling himself out of the season just yet. So back in the ruck. Fort with the tap. Ball comes out. McCluggage could gather. Misses target. Dunkley goes back. Fishes for it. Did well. Wilmot sends the ball out wide. High up and under sort of ball. Who's going to get there first? Noble. Tapped it towards his own advantage. Did okay. Weller tracking the boundary line. Good pressure from Gallup. So back in the ruck, Witts, little tap again. Ashcroft, reaped down there by Rioli. Another ball up. In fact, it was Swallow who did a good tackle. So working it forward here, the Suns. Bad bounce there for a Gold Coast forward. King tries to put his body through the Starskovic. Andrews held up. Another ball up again. So game's just come to a bit of a standstill. We've only seen a goal each in this final term. The Gold Coast haven't had much spirit in this final quarter. They really shot their shot last week. Tough trip to come back from Perth to then back up in another final. They just haven't been able to do it. Rao, little soccer off the ground, goes to Charlie Cameron. Wasn't paid the 15. King puts his arm through him. Ball up again. "17 tackles from Josh Dunkley tonight is the most tackles in a final by any player. He has really flown the flag in the middle of the ground, Josh Dunkley. Hewlin did well. They work it forward now, the Gold Coast. Weller, top of the goal square. Can they get another one of the Suns? Maybe win the final term. Couldn't take it. Reveal. Held up by Flanders. Strong tackle. Ball up. Witts with the tap again. Ainsworth tracks the footy. Wilmot swung. 360. Ball up again. Oh, just end the game, bro. I think both teams would be happy just to end it here. So Fort with the tap again. Dunkley tried to fist it forward. McCluggage tried to get Boots a ball. All players trying to grab the footy. Wilmot, long 25-metre handball only as far as Noble. Good gather. Goes towards the pocket. Very wide. That's out on the full. So Brisbane want to go out the outer wing. Zorko, little stabbing ball over the top, misses target, rolls out of bounds. So what on there from Brisbane to get the ball forward. Berry high up and under ball towards the one-on-one. Gallup fought the fight. Did it well. Archie trying to get rid of it. Good work from Farah. Deserved the free kick for that tackle. Anderson sends it through the spine. Swallow just dropped the footy. Zorko thumps it off the middle, off the turf. Long ball. Collins couldn't grab it. Ball skids towards the boundary line. He did well there, Collins. Eventually got rid of it, and he's kicked it on the full with the McInerney pressure. Is it the Big O? No, it's not. It's going to be Kai Lohman. Ticked under 5 minutes left. It feels like we need a little bit of Kai time. He's got the new do. He's looking the goods, Kai Lohman. It was one of the stars of the grand final last year. And he's hit the post. So wide ball there from the Gold Coast goes out of bounds. So Ashcroft with the clearance. Ball gets out the back. Farah gets there first. Archie, strong tackle. Just hasn't been their night at the Gold Coast. They've obviously last week was so high on emotion. They've done really well. But coming back to Brisbane this week, just haven't been able to back it up. Oh, that's deliberate. So McCluggage sends it to the top of the goal square. Lions have the numbers. Almost uncontested. Kyle Oman. Seems that he set his timing perfectly now, Kyle Oman, for the end of the season. He's had a tough year through injury, but he's setting his sights on another grand final berth for his team. So Lohman, now's the time to start the party. Kyle Oman kicks the goal. They hit the 100 as they all get around and rub the lucky head of Kyle Oman. So we're back in the middle. 3:51 left in this game. Ashcroft slapped it onto Levi. He'll drive it inside the forward 50. Maybe there's more party time for Brisbane. Collins got the spoil. Tracks towards the boundary line. Rioli trying to get a handball away. Reveal knocks it out. Brisbane crowd won't see them again at the Gabba for the rest of the season, but I'm sure they have a little bit more sights on the MCG. If they can win next week, they're back where they were last year to try and claim back-to-back premierships. Witt slaps it to the front. Ashcroft gets there just before the boundary line. Handball on the inside to Cal Archie. Towards the pocket. Floats. It goes wide and it's out on the full. 3.5 left in this game. High ball just towards the centre of the ground. Gardner put his fist through it. Tapped it towards half forward. Will Ashcroft handball over the top. Got smothered. Rao to Anderson. Just hasn't been there tonight. The two big guns in the middle. Gives it off to Miller. Cannons a handball towards half forward, but Brisbane have all the numbers. Harris Andrews, made a mistake. King, Andrew, Weller fumbled. Had time to get back onto it. Chance here to kick a late goal. A little bit of a consolation prize and misses. Sends the ball up the wing. Good mark from Gallup. This kid has been showing so much in the second half. He's already got a goal to his name. His first goal in AFL footy. Chris Fagan having a laugh on the bench. He knows this. He's having a great game. Long ball. Spoiled down by Collins. Great row from Rayner. Deserves a goal. Good tackle. Farah slapped it back. Jeffrey under a lot of pressure. Great bump. Ashcroft gives it up. McCluggage, part of the season, went to ground. Davies, Fiorini turned it over. Levi socketed it off the turf. Reveal, look away handball. McCluggage out on the full. Can the Lions find one more goal? Send off this crowd with another highlight. Jeffrey finds Noble. No, Anderson, sorry. In the middle of the defensive 50. So now Anderson sends a good looking ball here for Rao. Looking through the corridor. They got a bit of running of the Gold Coast. Chance here to get a late consolation prize. Farah had to hold up for the moment. He now goes towards the 50 on his own. Good mark from Humphrey. So Bailey Humphrey had a good game last week. Had some comparisons to Dusty Martin, but one thing that Dusty has is has a lot of consistency when through a final series. Unfortunately, Bailey just a little bit young, a little bit not as fit, not really bound for finals as of yet. Consistent finals footy, but that will come with time. So now Cam Rayner just soaking it in. He's been good at a very down week last week. Was questioned through the media. Oh, it's a dangerous looking kick. It works out okay. Maybe with a late chance here, Brisbane. Fletcher flares it through the middle, misses target. Gets out the back. Miller will get there first. Barry puts on the pressure. Fiorini. Handle out wide to Witts. He works it back to Euland. Ducks past the tackler. So as we wind down at the Gabba, this may be the last time this year the Brisbane fans get to see their team, but they know they have bigger fish to fry in 2025. The reigning premiers are prelim final bound. They go up against the foes of the 2023 grand final, and if they can win that, they're into the big dance. Great win from Brisbane. They showed up younger brother, showed how to win a final, responded from last week's disappointment, and won in the end by 53 points. 14-16, 100 to the Gold Coast, 6-11, 47. All right, guys, I'll end the stream there. Thank you for joining me this stream. New video will be out on Monday, so hopefully you're there for that. But again, thank you for listening. Thank you.